Welcome to TWitWoW, the best podcast on the internet today. I'm John. That's my compadre and commentary, Ashton. And this is the TWitWoW weekly recap. I really just want to go on an unhinged rant immediately, but I'm going to restrain myself and I'm going to be a responsible adult and we're going to do this show the way that it's fucking intended, which is pro wrestling, politics, and pop culture. So let's begin with that. Let's just talk about the elephant in the room that moves very slowly because it looks like it smokes a carton of cigarettes a day despite swearing by a straight edge lifestyle. CM Punk is WWE champion again, beating Sami Zayn on Raw. We all thought it was going to be Cody, but Cody was taken out by Gunther, who was just beefing with everybody because then on Friday he assaulted Nick Aldis again and put him in sleepers, but not before Nick Aldis announced that on the next Saturday night's main event, I forget what date that Saturday night's main event is taking place on, Gunther is going to be teaming with Sami Zayn against CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. So, yeah, Sammy and Punk have a decent match. I watched a highlight video of it from Asylum Highlights. Subscribe to them. They make great highlight stuff. Brings me back to my teenage years when I used to watch wrestling MVs constantly. And I made an hour-long one of John Morrison because I was obsessed. I hate how accurate Ricky Mundo was in hindsight. But yeah, so I watched a highlight. It was decent, but dude, I just don't care for CM Punk in the ring, man. On the mic, he could still be great. I'm not saying he's always great, but we know he can hit great still at this point of his career. In the ring, though, man, I don't believe it because he just gets so blown up and breathing heavy. And I'm like, how am I supposed to believe that a guy with Sammy's conditioning, I'm not saying he has a rip bod either, but having a rip bod doesn't mean you have great conditioning. That's two different things. That he that he's gonna lose to you the way that he does, especially when Sammy hit 2 GTSs in that fucking match and Punk still kicked out. So I don't know, man. I kind of rolled my eyes at it, but Punk is the champion, and we also know that it's gonna be Punk versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. Yay, whatever. Uh, I mean, is there really anything to say? I really have no opinions on this. It's Punk. It's Cody. It's an eye roll for me. I just want to know, do you have anything you want to say about any of this?
I've been the one on here that's been kind of pounding the table for how good Raw has been for a while now, but this week's episode of Raw was a hot 2-pack of ass.
Nice.
Not only did we do the whole Cody being a martyr shit, which is probably my least favorite trope in wrestling right now. With him getting fucking car door curb stomped by Gunther. But then we do the whole Phil winning the world title after being out for 3 months almost now at this point. Plus, we had the Street Profits lose the tag titles, which was also very frustrating. There was something else that annoyed me on this show that I'm trying to remember. Someone either won a title or someone retained a title that annoyed me on the show that I don't remember.
Who's the women's intercontinental champion? Maybe was that something?
That's Sol Ruka. I wouldn't be annoyed by her losing.
No, yeah, that's right. That is Sol Ruka.
It was the reason that the Vision won the titles back. Maxine Dupree has officially joined the Vision and is, I guess, officially Austin Theory's on-screen girlfriend now.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up, but I didn't want to step on your toes, given that you already mentioned the tag titles.
Yeah.
But yeah. Honestly, I don't hate Maxine. It does seem like a weird choice to me to turn her heel. Because in my mind, right, I thought people were starting to get behind her a bit as a babyface. And it just felt. But again, though, keep in mind, I'm saying this is somebody that's so disconnected from the product. But I just seemed weird that they would turn her heel when I felt like she was building babyface momentum. And with Austin Theory of all people, really, to me, I'm sorry, and I'm definitely dating
here's the thing.
Yeah,
this past January, there were actual news reports and stuff Maxine Dupree got married in real life to
Yeah.
NXT wrestler Cam Hendricks. Like, it's like a known thing now that she's already hitched to some guy that's not even just some guy, but like an active NXT wrestler. And Austin Theory, I believe, has a fiance. So not only does this give like Vince McMahon trifling in people's personal lives vibes, but it's also just like such a lazy angle to me because like they've been sprinkling in little bits of Maxine and Theory commingling backstage for months now. And then to have her refuse to accept Chad Gable's apology, which is a completely valid and reasonable thing for a woman to do, like for
Yeah.
anyone to do, not just a woman, for a person to do.
Yeah.
I don't think that it makes you a bad person if you are not willing to accept the apology of your abuser. And Chad absolutely was Maxine's abuser not that fucking long ago, a little over a year ago. And now we jump immediately to she's just a full blown heel. She hits the low blow on, I want to say it was Dawkins, because Montez jumped over the turnbuckle. So it was Dawkins that she hit the low blow on to help Theory and Breaker win the tag titles back. And then, she's celebrating and making out with Theory afterwards. It just feels like such shallow character writing. Like, I don't like that we're associating being a heel with not accepting an apology. It's boundaries don't make you a bad person. You know what I mean?
First of all, okay, so first of all, just to acknowledge everything you just said, I agree wholeheartedly, especially about the boundary part, right? So I just want to affirm what you said before I go off on my own thing. Another problem I have, now again, please, people, because I'm disconnected, correct me, because I may be wrong, and I want to know when I'm wrong. I have not seen her have any tension with Otis and Tozawa at all.
No, I
And
haven't
like
seen
there
much.
was
There might have been like, really, I think the main source of tension was the Chad apology, but I don't remember there being any tension prior to that. So this is another case where,
yeah,
like you, if I missed something, please chat, let us know. But I
yeah.
don't remember seeing any either.
Because here's the thing, and if the Chad thing was the biggest thing, you already handled that fucking impeccably by saying boundaries don't make you a bad person. Boundaries does not equal heel heat. And if that's the world we're trying to live in, it's bad enough that you're trying to get me to root for Roman Reigns like on some classist bullshit against Jacob Fatu, which was fucking weird and gross. Like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not being like, oh my God, she set a boundary? Doesn't she know she's a woman? Like, what the fuck are you smoking? Like, I don't have time with this company to be like, how much gas did TKO huff today from the fucking gas leak? Like, I'm not in the mood. So to me, it just feels not necessarily out of left field because again, they've peppered the interactions with her in Theory, but like there was nothing paired with that. I never saw her get annoyed with Otis and Tozawa. I never saw her walk out on them while they were having a match because she felt like they were losing, and then maybe they come back and they win and they're confused because she's gone, or maybe they just lose anyway and they're like, why did she leave us? There was no build up there. Like it's bad enough when you and I have complained in the past about things being lost in the art of pro wrestling, particularly on the wrestler side, i.e. selling. I know has been a big thing for you and I. But like it's getting worse now where I feel like at least in this context, this one little snapshot, I'm worried that the art of storytelling itself is starting to be compromised, like on an overarching level. Because what even is this? And again, it's nothing against Maxine. It's barely anything against Austin Theory, even though I personally think he's a waste of time. It really is like you did not, in my mind, set this up properly. And I just, yeah, it really just kind of left me flummoxed that, like, we didn't let this breathe a little more. We didn't see her break away with Otis and Tozawa. Because, like, even she gets in the car with them, the Vision, and Otis and Tozawa look confused. Like, why is she doing that? Which shows that she didn't even break up with them prior to moving on here. She just did the whole thing. And then apparently she gave an interview to some publication later, and she's like, oh, I've always put those guys first, and it was time to put me first. Which, cool. But you know what I would have liked that better in? Maybe a backstage segment after Otis and Tozawa lost a match. Or maybe Maxine lost a match and Otis and Tozawa maybe won a match, and Maxine's feeling a little jaded. Like, well, of course you won because we've been prioritizing you for so long that you're only finally starting to put it together. I mean, took you long enough, right? Meanwhile, I'm sitting here eating up, but there was none of that. So I just feel like it's a waste. What else to talk about from this show? I mean, also, I gotta say this, man. I don't even really know how I feel about this part because you know I'm a big Braun Breaker fan. Part of me is like, maybe the tag titles are good for him right now because it really seemed like that whole singles run, it's been kind of a mess. And look, if we're being real, Obafemi is just scoring goal after fucking goal. However you feel about how he's being booked with all this Brock bullshit, on his end of the mic and everything, he is carrying it effortlessly on his shoulders. Like, I know I joked in the past, like, oh, it's going to be great seeing Braun and Oba compete for that top spot. If I'm keeping it real with you all, again, as a Braun Breaker fan, it's no competition. Oba's wiping the floor with all these motherfuckers. So on one hand, I think good that maybe Braun's getting that reset. On the other hand, though, I'm like, this feels like a real step down for him at the same time. Like, I'm conflicted about Braun already being back in a tag team thing. And again, with Theory, and I know that's my bias because I don't like Theory, it makes me worry about Braun Breaker. So, like, how do you even feel about those guys being tag champs? Because I just feel like it's a sunken cost fallacy with the Vision. It's like we've already put too much into them. We can't say that it's a failure. We gotta keep pushing on the gas. So, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this weird insistence to keep the titles on what I consider to be a dead faction. Like,
Yeah.
you already had them turn on Seth. That didn't make sense with how quickly it happened. Waller's out, Reed is out. It feels like maybe they're just buying time. Maybe they want to do more with those guys and they're just trying to buy time and just kind of tell kind of filler stories and kind of stall until those guys are able to come back. Um but yeah, no, I think yeah, the tag team specifically of Theory and Breaker has zero aura whatsoever. It just feels like a couple of like weird twitchy fuck boys that are really athletic and don't have much in the way of personalities.
Yeah, like
And
I hate to say it, but if Logan Paul wasn't injured, like I almost feel like Logan Paul and Braun, like if you had to put Braun in a tag team again,
yeah, and
like
I think
that
that's the
might have
I
been a
think
better
that's
team.
the part of the bigger problem is that Braun just shouldn't be a tag guy. Like I get that Logan's injured and that the actual team is Logan in Theory, which kind of makes sense because that should feel like two like annoying, smarmy little fuckboys. That makes sense for those guys to have that vibe. Breaker should not give that vibe, and when he's paired up with Theory, he does.
I'm speaking solely for myself here. Uh, I feel like Braun Breaker fans, like I'm gonna start that trend here by declaring it. I wonder how many other Braun Breaker fans will join me in the future. We're gonna look back on this man's career and we're gonna be like, him joining the Vision was one of the worst things to ever happen to this dude. They should have kept him as babyface. They should have never turned him the heel the night after Mania. That was so stupid in hindsight, looking back. And I'll admit, I bought into it. I thought, oh, he's rubbing shoulders with Seth. This is great. But then the injuries, everything else, and then he doesn't even beat Seth in the feud when Seth comes back as a babyface. Like, this has just been a horrible thing for him. So yeah, tag champs now. We'll see how it goes.
Again,
What
well,
else?
they're the
Yeah,
team that lost the titles to the Street Profits in the first place just a couple weeks ago.
yeah. So also titles getting hot potato.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Um, I did mention Oba, brother. I'm guessing, did you catch his promo to Paul Heyman? I know you adore
Yes,
Oba like I
I
do.
did
So what did
catch
you
it.
think about this?
Yeah, I mean, Oba remains undefeated on the mic. He's amazing.
Dude, his aura, his confidence, like I believe in this dude with everything he does. It's such an easy sell for him because I look at him and I'm like, yeah, that's legit. Um, and it's funny because some of the like I will admit, some of the lines can be corny, but you know that you aura farm out the fucking ass, out of every pore of your being when you make it work. Because when he ends it with, you tell your client, "I'll see him in hell," you want to kind of roll your eyes a bit because, oh, I get hell in a cell, but I don't know if it's the accent or what, but man, Oba could say the most cliche shit, and I'm standing up and I'm applauding. So I love this. I thought this is great. Um, really cannot wait. I'm just assuming him and Roman is going to be WrestleMania or whatever they're planning there. Um, Really, the only other thing I watched from Raw, because we always say that we're not a recap show, the only two other things besides Sammy losing the title was Bailey's plea to Lyra Valkyria. Did you watch this?
I did
The
see this
Yeah,
this like sort of pre-tape. Yes, I did see it. It was pretty good. I didn't think that it was really all that noteworthy. So obviously, if you did, I want to hear what you have to say about it.
I really did. Just very quickly, I like that she didn't come in angry. I like that she didn't even say like she was right or wrong. She just wants to understand. I thought that was a very nuanced, mature take from Bailey, which makes sense given all of her years in the business and her being a heel and her being like she's seen it all and she's done it all. So it gives her a unique vantage point of empathy. It does make me interested in their segment on Monday. I'm still hoping that Tatum can get involved in this somehow, but we'll wait and see. But yeah, the only other thing, let's see what I was going to say here, was Seth Rollins' promo, which, did you have any thoughts about this? Because I thought it was good, but I'm like, I don't know, Seth. I mean, you did kind of start all this by turning heel first on everybody.
Was
But
this the promo? Wait, I'm having a hard time remembering what this promo, like what the content of it was. Can you remind me?
it was essentially like he's like, oh, Roman didn't get a big enough check to be here. And, Roman's always been the guy. He's always been the chosen one. And, ever since I was a kid, like, I wanted to main event the WrestleManias and this and that. And like, to see Roman, I guess, in a way, I don't think he said this exactly, but what I got from it was, like, to see Roman live my dream, it bothers me. And that would be such a fascinating take, such a fascinating psychological perspective if Seth didn't win the WWE title before like anybody in the Shield, if he didn't have the greatest Money in the Bank cash in of all time, if he very clearly wasn't a company guy,
Yeah.
like if he was more of like an Ambrose type, because Ambrose had a pretty decent WWE title reign as well, but he was never the guy the way Seth and Roman were, in my opinion. Like if he had more of that vibe, maybe it would be a harder sell and I'd be more fascinated. But I'm like, come on, Seth.
Because that's the thing. Is like we've established relatively frequently over the course of probably the last decade at this point that Seth is exactly the type of guy to snitch on the boys if they were trying to start a wrestlers union. Like he's absolutely that dude. He is a bootlicker to the very end. He's a company guy in the truest sense of the word. And like, anytime anyone ever complains about creative, Seth's always the first one to stick his neck out there and be like, no, creative's actually good. And it's like, yeah, because you always get good angles. You always get good theme songs. You always get, good people to work. Like it's all you've been, coddled your entire career basically, with very few exceptions. The biggest exception I can think of is when they had you feud with Baron Corbin for an entire summer, and now they brought his ass back, so they still haven't learned from that mistake.
We'll get to that. Yeah, like I'm glad you feel the same way I do, because sometimes I wonder if I'm being too harsh, but I'm listening to this promo, and again, it's not a bad promo in a vacuum, but that's the thing. It shouldn't be in a vacuum. Wrestling should be a program that doesn't insult its audience intelligence, like, because this is a long form story.
You mean kind of like how on SmackDown they had it seem like they like basically broke or dislocated Alexa Bliss's elbow, even though we've literally seen her do that exact trick several times already. It was just like a decade ago, and most people don't remember it.
Yep.
That's the exact kind of insulting of the audience's intelligence that we're talking about right now. It's literally just like, they ain't gonna remember this shit. We can do some shit without them worrying about people remembering that it's wrong or that we've done it before.
And literally the comments on the video, I think even the top comment mentioned the double jointedness. So yeah. Like, there you go. But yeah, like if there is a gap between Seth and Roman, and again, in my opinion, it's imperceptible. Like it's not even worth noting, like, come on, Seth, So yeah, that's essentially it from Raw, at least for me. Was there anything on Raw I didn't touch on that you wanted to talk about? Because again, I know we're not a recap show, and I just always want to pick out the things that kind of jumped out to me, but that doesn't always mean it jumped out to you, or things jumped out to you that didn't jump out to me. So anything you want to talk about?
Have you paid any attention to recent LA Knight promos?
No.
All right. Well, we'll just move on past that then.
Fair enough.
I'm hopping at the immediate. That was a very Tobias coded no.
Yes. I don't think I watched any of NXT. The only clip I saw was Layla Diggs became number one contender for the Women's North American Championship. And you know what? Good for Layla because that moonsault is gorgeous. So I'm excited for her. Her versus Zarya. I obviously expect Zarya to win. I don't think Layla really has a shot to win, but it could be a like really fun underdog fighting from the bottom type match, and I feel like they could do some really compelling hope spots too. So I don't know. I think Layla's a pretty decent challenger. You have any thoughts
Bro,
about that?
you realize Layla Diggs is a heel, right?
No, seriously?
Yeah.
That makes no sense to me, given that Zarya I thought was a heel. I mean, she beat Tatum both to win the title and her first title defense, and we know Tatum's a babyface. So what? They're doing heel versus heel?
I mean, I guess so. At least the last time I checked, Layla Diggs was doing like a really arrogant heel character in NXT.
That's crazy because we already know Kalani Jordan's pretty much doing that type of character, and I
Yeah.
didn't know Layla Diggs was also okay. Well, I apologize, everybody. I clearly talked out my head. I mean, it still doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not backing down on that part. That makes no sense to me. But I
It's
do
very valid.
apologize for not having all my information there. So, yeah,
I mean,
that's
hey,
we.
Alex
Yeah,
Foster is in chat. Alex, if I'm wrong about Layla being a heel, please chime in, correct me. I would love to know that I'm wrong. It would make a lot more sense if I'm wrong. But the last time I watched NXT, which was in the last month, it's not like it was forever ago, they had Layla doing like an arrogant heel character on the show.
well, maybe they're turning Zarya because I do feel like, to be fair, Zarya also has been getting more positive crowd reaction. So maybe she's just a tweener. I don't know. Either way, you know what? It should be an interesting matchup. Foster said Layla's associated with Natty's group, so yeah, definitely heel coded. But the story is that she seemingly would rather play more fair than Natty, Nikita, or Carm. Oh, that's an interesting twist. Okay. So heel coded in one way, but she wants to win straight up based on her skill. So weird matchup. Weird matchup, but I do like the physical dynamics. I'll put it that way. Um, Kendall retained against Natty. You're god fucking damn right. She should have. Kendall Gray is amazing. Love that for her. And I think that's really all I paid attention to. I know Callie Armstrong got a solid segment, taking out fucking Lola Vice and Kalani Jordan and some other stuff. But again, the Layla Diggs is the biggest thing I paid attention to. And I did hear that Kendall retained against Natty. Was there anything on NXT you wanted to talk about?
Not necessarily directly related to NXT, but I do find it interesting that Carmen Petrovich specifically is now associated with different factions in NXT and AAA, and they're like relatively new startup factions.
Yeah, giving her a lot of exposure. It's kind of
Yeah,
surprising.
because they've got her in this Natalia group, and then they also have her in the new incarnation of Los Perros del Mal with Daga and Bronco Nima and the Garzas.
Yeah. You know, nothing against Carmen, but it really does show WWE like when they don't want to give up on somebody or like some entity, they will find something, they will engineer something. I wish they had that much care about Ashanti when he came in because I feel like that dude had more talent to give, and I don't know, it just never really clicked with him in NXT. And I only mention that because we know he did that god awful angle with Carmen where they were like together but like so
Oh
toxic the
my
entire
God,
time.
yeah, that's right. I
Yeah.
it's there's a long list of people that I wish that they would have put as much effort into trying to make work as they are currently with Carmen Petrovich. Because here's the thing, I don't think Carmen Petrovich is bad by any means. I think she's a solid
No.
talent. She's got a great look. She's got some
Yeah.
natural charisma to her that most of the, it's like way above average, I would say, for the WWE roster. But like, man, the fact that we let go of her this quickly and we didn't do the same kind of effort to keep around Jakara Jackson is wild.
I would agree. I would definitely agree. Um, I guess with that said, yes, SmackDown. Well, let's just open that up because I think you've mentioned it twice. At least when we're talking about Raw. Adult Caillou came back, aka Baron Corbin, and he laid out Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, and then he posed with the U.S. title, which Lil Yachty got Trick Williams a new U.S. title. It's got that fur going on, he really classed it up. I gotta say, for custom titles, that is far from the worst. I actually kind of dug it when I saw it. But yeah, Baron is back, and if I'm being truthful, all jokes aside, Baron is such a weird case because I feel like when he has somebody to play off of, like I know Foster shouted out Wolf Dogs in the chat earlier, and unironically that was a fun team. Like obviously I was all about Braun Breaker, and I didn't want Baron to get in the way. But if you really gave yourself to it, like they had an interesting dynamic where they played off each other well. I do think he's solid in the ring. Like if I had to get in the ring with anybody and kind of trust my life to it, Baron would be like top
Top
five.
10 at
I think
least, if
he's
not top 5. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, like I think he knows his fundamentals. He's really solid. He's got a decent looking moveset. I mean, people love End of Days. I do too. Deep Six is a
End
cool
of
looking
Days is
signature
one of the
move.
most protected finishers of the last like 15, 20 years in WWE at least.
Yeah, dude, 100%. So like,
I think
there's so
who was it
yeah.
that kicked out of it the first time ever, just within the last like 5 or 6 years?
Wasn't it Drew? I thought
Yeah, it
Drew
was
kicked out of
Drew.
it.
It was. Yeah, thank you. Yep. Drew
Yeah,
McIntyre. I think it was like it might have even been at WrestleMania, like 37, maybe. I don't know. It was like one of those like mid to high 30s WrestleManias, I want to say, or it might have even been while Drew was champion in the Thunderdome after Mania 36. But yeah, he kicked out of End of Days. It was the first time someone had ever kicked out of that move, and Corbin had been using it for like several years. I think Corbin was on NXT takeovers in like 2014, I want to say. So
yeah,
not quite a decade, but at least like 6 years at that point. That's
yeah.
amazing that no one could like. We need more people in the business who, with a mind for the business like Baron Corbin, I would just prefer that they have a little more personality
And that's the thing, right? Because there is so much right around Baron Corbin, and even when it comes to like the in-ring stuff, because again, he's very sound in there, very safe in there. But the personality just no. Like I even like I'll be truthful, guy. Like I want to have an honest, sober talk about Baron. Like I didn't want to dunk on him too much. Like obviously we love to have our fun. I didn't want him to stop wrestling. Like I thought, like I wanted him to go around and maybe experiment with different characters and shit. Because whether you like certain acts or not, what I like about certain people is they'll experiment. Like I even know, like I know neither one of us care for this dude, but Joe Gacy apparently like uploaded some kind of video, almost like a found footage type thing, and it had a pretty decent aesthetic. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I could tell the visuals like he was being more experimental. I like people that do that. I wanted Baron to go and maybe find a voice that suited him because still the best character he's ever had that he actually, to his credit, played well was Down Bad Corbin. And I really felt like if they had played the long game with that, you could have made a babyface out of that, in my opinion.
in.
They gave up on it way too quick. But yeah, like that was lightning in a bottle for him that they let out just as quickly as they trapped it. And I just feel like nothing's been the same since. And I really wanted to see him maybe go to TNA, maybe go to AEW, just go, or maybe do the indies, whatever's left of them, and like experiment with stuff. But it just seems like he's Baron Corbin. Like this is just like the lone wolf, like that we've always known. And I don't really get excited about that, especially given that he's like immediately in my mind, um, just a heel again, just going after Trick, winning the U.S. title, whatever. Again, solid hand, safe worker, reliable worker on that front. But like he's not like he may even get heat, I don't know, in the ring, but I felt like the crowd reaction was dead for him when he came back. I felt like there was a lot of edited crowd noise for him.
Dude,
So I'll be curious if he'll be
everything
able to get
has
that heat.
edited crowd noise. It's WWE.
That is a fair retort, but just to make the point that like I'm curious how much organic heat he's going to get in the coming weeks. Uh so yeah, that happened. So welcome back, I guess, but I really don't know what to make of it, to be quite honest.
By the way,
Uh
just to
yeah.
go on a tangent before we move on here, I want you to know that when you returned the nickname of the what did you call him about Caillou? What do you call him again?
Oh, adult Caillou.
Adult Caillou. Yeah, I actually looked up does Caillou have any catchphrases to see if I could shape one of them into something for Corbin to maybe give him some personality, even if it is only on our show. Uh, this AI overview is actually too funny not to share. It says Caillou does not have an official, widely recognized catchphrase. Instead, he is most famous for his signature whining and crying whenever he didn't get his way.
And it's so true.
However,
Um
he is frequently associated with the phrase, I'm just a kid who's 4, which is the opening lyric to his iconic theme song. So, Baron Corbin, I'm just a kid who's 41.
God. Oh, well, first of all, Pop. Second of all, I personally, my submission for that, when he was down Pad Corbin, I'm just a guy who's poor. That would have been great.
Oh my god, that would have been so good. But then he looked the least like Caillou he's ever looked in, though, because he was growing his hair out and he had like the beard and stuff.
Dude, I know. It wasn't our time.
I'm gonna stick with
This show.
I'm gonna stick with I'm just a kid who's 41.
Yeah, you know what? That works. The motion carries. Um, this show fucking blueballed me because
Oh.
Jimmy Uso
Oh.
has a fucking match with Royce Keys, and
It
at one
wasn't a
point,
90-second squash?
no, it wasn't apparently. And at one point, Solo Sikoa appears behind Jimmy. Jimmy tries stopping him. Obviously, that failed, like everything else Jimmy Uso fucking does. And Solo was looking to spike him. And before I got to experience that sweet fucking release, Jacob Baatu's fucking music hits. And here's what I don't understand, okay? Like, I understand that sometimes I'm a bit slow on the uptake, and I definitely understand that 90% of the time I'm unhinged and unrealistic. But explain this to me. He has Jimmy compromised. He has the fucking thumb, up in the air, ready to deploy at a moment's fucking notice. The music hits, which means you're nowhere around. You gotta go down the ramp, which is still quite a distance from where fucking Solo and Jimmy were. Why couldn't you thumb that fucking throat and then confront him? Why did you have to let Jimmy go just so you could get the sprint and the head start so you could roll with him? That made no sense to me. Finish the fucking job. So yeah, that pissed me off because I really wanted to see Jimmy just on the floor fucking writhing and wheezing. But that didn't happen. No, because Solo Sikoa decided, oh shit, I hear boss music, gotta just drop everything I'm doing and confront him all the way up on the no, fuck. So that happened. And I guess the only other thing worth mentioning, because I know you've been kind of loving how she's been doing this, is apparently Blake Monroe took out Chelsea Green and like introduced herself to her. So did you see this?
I missed it. Damn.
I could send you the video if you want to live react to it. I know we've done that in the past.
Yeah, I'll pull it up on my MacBook here so not everyone else has to hear it.
Excellent. I'm discording you the link right now. We're doing it.
Discord me, daddy.
Oh, you know it. There you go.
All right.
She puts her finger on her nose like she's booping her in the thumbnail.
Oh, did she attack Tiffany too? That would have been nice.
Maybe. Apparently, I'm going to be watching a clip later according to Super Blue. I just saw his latest question for Q&A.
I just need you to know, John, you are allowed to say no.
No, it's a fair question, and I don't mind. Plus, I mean, Q&A really has become the Super Blue section, so might as well.
Chelsea. Okay, I'm seeing Chelsea now, finally. I don't like that they have Chelsea cozying up to Tiffany.
I've hated it from the beginning, so you're not alone.
And now we've got Nia and Lash showing up. The day that Lash turns on Nia is going to be glorious.
You're so right, King.
Or, it could even be the other way around, because that would mean Lash would be more likely to go babyface. I'm fine with that, too.
Yeah. Oh, God. So close to thumb throat Jimmy Uso. We can't have nice things. Disappointing.
Oh, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
That was kind of similar to the Julia Kiana James segment from last week, but a little less hilarious to me.
Blake better be careful, because she's, like, beefing with everybody. She better be careful not everybody just gangs up on her at once. Because that would be my mentality. Is like, listen, I don't like you and you don't like me. But this bitch, we got to teach her the hierarchy immediately.
It's going to culminate in a battle royal spot where everyone gangs up to eliminate her.
Yeah, you know what? You're probably right. I like that. I'm going to remember that you called that. Yeah, I don't really think there's anything else worth mentioning because we already kind of touched on other stuff earlier during like the Raw segment. Like I already mentioned going through attacking Nick Aldis. You already mentioned Alexa Bliss's double jointedness in that whole attack. So yeah, there's really nothing there. And
I will say I am extremely grateful that SmackDown is back to being only 2 hours. That is such a relief to me.
yes, yes, less is more. Less is more. And I guess the only other wrestling news is Kenny Omega is the new AEW World Champion. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, beat MJF, so it's going to be him versus
In the
Osprey at
main
Wembley.
event of Dynamite.
Yeah, yes, yes. So, which means at Wembley, all in, that Dave Meltzer's going to give his first 30-star rating because it's
Yep.
Osprey.
Dude, it
And
is
actually, no,
so
it'll be
wild that I almost said when you said Dave Meltzer's going to have his first, my brain went to 7-star rating, but I'm pretty sure he actually has already given a 7-star rating. I'm not joking.
Yeah, you know what? 30. Listen, I should curb it a little bit. It's going to be 29 and a half because it wasn't in the Tokyo Dome. But, I know Dave
Yeah,
Meltzer's going to fucking love
dude,
it.
Meltzer has given 7 stars to 2 different matches. One was Omega Okada at Dominion. I think that was the hour-long. Um, I forget if it was 2 out of 3s or Iron Man match that Kenny like collapsed to avoid the Rainmaker. And then the other one was Omega Tanahashi from later on that year in New Japan Destruction. So 2 Kenny Omega matches from 2018 are 7-star matches on Dave Meltzer's 5-star scale.
You know, Dave Meltzer becomes a lot more tolerable if you just look at him as an old man that just wants to liking things. Like I'm starting to just look at it like that,
Dude,
and I'm
I
like, you know
wish
what?
that he was just an
Yeah,
old man who wants to like things, but the problem is he refuses to give good ratings to women's matches, especially WWE women's matches. It's gross.
yeah. You know what? You're right. I actually forgot that was a huge problem with him. Yeah, you're a piece of shit, Dave. But yeah, there you go,
Has Dave
Kenny.
Meltzer ever given a 5+ star rating to a women's match? Actually, let me change that to ever from ever to has Dave Meltzer given a 5+ star rating to a women's match since 2000?
Yeah, because I was gonna say maybe he's done it for like AJPW, but
Okay,
that
so
would, yeah.
okay, he gave 5.5 stars to Utami Shuri, the match that went to a double knockout, and they got the 5 more minutes, and they went to a double thing, that whole thing. He gave Jesus fucking Christ, he gave 5.25 stars to Saya Kamitani versus Tam from All Star Grand Queendom last year.
Okay.
He did
Fucking
give
Tam.
5 stars to Io Rhea Bianca from I think that was WrestleMania 41, so not this year but last year. And he gave a 5-star rating to Tony Storm, Mariah May, the like big culmination of their feud, Revolution last year.
See, and like no disrespect to Dave in this instance, because we did show that he has given high star ratings, and I know they're just opinions like everybody else's opinions, but that just shows where him and I differ because I still feel like Io Rhea from Evolution 2, like how that did get, but like
Yeah.
I fucking love that match, and especially the cash in at the end for Naomi, like perfection.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. So Kenny Omega, the new world champion. I will say too, I saw Hangman Adam Page's promo from Collision. I like Hangman, bro. Like I can't help it. Like I think he's such a just a natural babyface. He's got that like quiet charisma. He's got a magnetism to him that I can't really articulate. And I love that he said like, I can't challenge for the men's world title anymore because he did lose that Texas Death Match to MJF. And I don't know what the future holds for me, but we're going to find out. And he listed all the things he hasn't done yet. Continental champion, TNT champion, all this stuff. So
Don't they
could be
have
a
a
very interesting
global
arc for him.
championship too, or am I thinking of New Japan?
I think you're thinking of New Japan, to be
Yeah.
fair on that one. And dude, I
That
love
would
the top comment on.
let's like dude, can Hangman go after the IWGP World Title, please? That would be aces.
That would be fucking awesome. But I love the top comment on that Collision video too, bro, because somebody pointed out the AEW tag titles with Swerve is just right there. And you know what? I liked when him and Swerve were like almost their own two-man power trip in a way. But I
Yeah.
know Swerve's heel again, so I don't think that's gonna work out. And it's a shame because I don't know, their relationship fascinates me. So I would have been down for a Swerve Hangman tag title run. But yeah, that's the only other thing from AEW. And Willow had a little promo too. I want to be honest, I'm rooting for Willow to win the women's world title. I like her. So,
Did you see the
well,
list that I made of women in AEW that aren't the world champion right now while Tekla's holding it?
I did, and like you already know your face and me and all that stuff. But I thought, that was fantastic. I really
It's so
appreciated you doing
upsetting
that.
because
Yeah.
like we watched Tekla for literally years in Stardom, and it got so bad that we started skipping her matches because we thought she was so mid and cringe. And now she goes to AEW, and Tony Khan's like, "Yes, please, give her the world title." And now, not only is she world champion, but she's world champion at a time that they have Athena, Jamie Hayter, Chris Statlander, Lana Cross, who I've become a fan of, Megan Bain, of course Mercedes, who still hasn't held the world title. Hopefully she wins it at Wembley. Mina Shirakawa, Queen Aminata, Willow, who is just now back from injury, but still has never held the world title, and Zeta Steel under contract. And no, it's Tekla. It's this fucking cringe Kenny Omega wannabe Austrian woman who baffles me as how she's over even more than Timeless Tony Storm did. And Timeless Tony Storm being over baffled the fuck out of me.
You know, bro, normally this would be the part, because we've said it so many times, especially like the last year, anywhere from year to 3 years on this show, where it's like, oh, Ashton, we're just getting old. We're disconnected from the product. Is it too arrogant to just say, no, they're wrong? Because, like, I'm tempted sometimes,
Dude,
man,
I'm
when I
telling
see
you
what gets
right
over.
now, it is the current generation of AEW fans specifically are it's like I feel like I need to draw like an evolution tree, like you know how you can like draw those trees that show that like the fish turned into amphibians, turned into reptiles, turned into
Yeah,
dinosaurs, turned into birds kind of thing.
yeah.
It stems from alienated and disenfranchised WCW fans who became Ring of Honor fans. And those Ring of Honor fans became basically like move set slash spot fest elitists, and
Yes.
those are the fans that have populated the AEW fan base. And the real problem isn't just that those are the AEW fans. The real problem is that Tony Khan specifically is fucking one of them. He is one of them. He's part of the problem. And so rather than Tony Khan being like, well, our fan base is a little neckbeard heavy, we could probably expand. He's like, no, the neckbeards are who I want to appeal to. Fuck you.
Yeah, like, it's so funny that I've been saying this more lately in a political register, but like I've even been saying to you again in a political register, how like ideology, or if we just want to make it common parlance, like a belief system is material. And like if two people have the same belief system, but one person's really wealthy, they're going to have an outsized influence about how that belief system gets disseminated, the contours it takes, et cetera, et cetera. So Tony Khan coming from that like cluster of fans of like the spot fest people and stuff like that, but also being a billionaire, and you can make a whole product around that philosophy,
Yep.
it's gonna change the culture. And obviously, in our opinion, and I cannot stress enough, our opinion, it's been for the worse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just
Because
crazy.
like by granting that sort of philosophy uh, as large of a stage as Tony has,
Yes.
he's given it credibility to the point that it's influencing other people now. So like there's like it's always kind of blown my mind that we have like a Zeta Steel who's very clearly heavily influenced by NXT era Sasha Banks, because like we watched NXT era Sasha Banks not that long ago to the point that like we were live reacting to those shows. And to see someone come up from a business who's very talented and very clearly inspired by someone that we live reacted to as a channel was mind blowing. So now the idea that AEW is starting to get to the point that it's starting to have influences on other wrestlers, it's like we have this generation coming in that was inspired by NXT a decade ago. What the fuck is going to happen 5 to 10 years from now when people are only inspired by this AEW Osprey no sell slop style? And I think the first real example that we already have on paper is Billy Starks in Ring of Honor. She is exactly the type of wrestler that I am afraid of getting more of over the next 10 years.
The only First of all, I do think you're correct again. Um, but the only thing that kind of weirdly fascinates me is what comes after, because it's so funny when you and I were kind of because I grew up like ruthless aggression era stuff like that. And I remember London and Kendrick like saying in interviews that guys like Guerrero and Benoit too even would say, "Oh, you guys are the future of the business." Like somehow they knew
Yeah.
they knew the style of London and Kendrick were going to define the next era of the industry. But what comes after the London and the Kendricks and the Ospreys and so like I almost have to wonder if it's going to circle back and one day we are going to get to a point in the business where people are craving the mat wrestlers again. Like I don't mean to do like wishful thinking. I'm really not. I'm just genuinely
Well, I
asking
think
what
like
comes after this.
I think
You know?
I think we're starting to see a little bit of it with Oba because I think like whoever
Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
whoever gets over in like the freakiest way is going to influence at least a lot of people, maybe not an entire generation or like at least a lot of people. And the way that Oba has gotten over with just the aura and the charisma and the size and the power, I think we're going to see a new wave of power wrestlers coming through probably in like 5 to 10 years. The problem is they're not going to have anyone to work with because they're going to basically just have to be bases for all of these like 5'6" flippy indie midgets that are inspired
Yeah.
by the Ospreys of the world.
And, you know, say what you will about him as a person, and God knows I think he's a piece of shit, but that is another reason why Brock was so gifted as an athlete is he could put on genuinely compelling matches with smaller guys.
Yeah.
Not every big guy is guaranteed to do that, and that's like a huge fucking problem. So like I actually love where you took my question because again, I was asking that in good faith. You know, like what comes after you know, we'll say Osprey because I feel like Osprey is like the quintessence of this era right now, and I hate also how he's kind of infected Ozumi as well with that bullshit. But that's a separate thing. But sooner or later, people are gonna get burned out
See,
on it, and they're gonna
I
look for
just
the
want
next
to.
thing. And yeah,
I just want to protest a little bit. I don't like the way you phrased that because you implied that like it's Osprey's fault. It is entirely Azumi's fault for seeing that style and being like, "Yeah, I want to do that. I want to be like that." Like she had the choice to follow the Io Mayu route and be more of like a true Joshi, and she's the one who decided I want to be like Osprey-san.
it's fair to a point, but hasn't she like known Osprey for a long time, like when she was young and maybe a bit more impressionable? So I
Well,
almost
yeah,
wonder if it's
because I
kind of like a
think she
50-50
probably
thing.
met him through B when B was in QQ.
Yeah, so I almost wonder if it's like a 50-50 thing, or at least if we still want to give Azumi more agency, like 70-30.
Yeah.
Because, like, I still feel like, you know, he kind of made an impression on her, and this guy is still doing reckless shit, but then he also wants to complain, like, I can't feel my fucking neck. Well, maybe adapt. Maybe, like, don't fetishize this fucking style or whatever. I don't know. But I
That's
do
another thing.
like where,
Speaking of
yeah.
fetishization, I'm worried that we're going to have a generation of people inspired by Darby Allin.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started on that shit, please. Oh my god. Like, I don't know. Yeah, Darby scares me. Darby's influence, I should say, to be as precise as possible, that scares me for sure. Um, but I really love where you took my question with the Oba thing because I do think people will be hungry for something different before too long.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: it's one thing if like if there was an alternate timeline where only like Osprey and maybe like 2 or 3 other people were doing that kind of shit. That's special. I feel like everybody does that shit now.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
And you
like
know who
it's
I
just
think does it
overexposure.
best? You know who I think actually does it in such a way that doesn't feel like disingenuous or overly dangerous?
You know, I can't think of a name, but I guarantee you when you say it's either gonna pop me or I'm just gonna be like, oh, so who are you thinking?
Javon Evans.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Because like he the way that he moves in the ring reminds me of an early Dante Martin in AEW, but
Yeah,
he's got more meat on his bones, I think, than Dante did back then. Not to say that Javon's bulky by any means, but I do think he's got more meat on his bones. He's taller than Dante, and I do think that he works safer than Dante. And I mean, Dante, the main reason that we don't talk about him anymore is because he's had so many LBIs, lower body injuries, over the last 5 years. Like, I don't even know if he's healthy right now to be wrestling. And if he is, I don't know if he is wrestling. And if he is, I don't know where. But I think Javon Evans is much safer with what he does. I think he's also more secure in himself. You could tell that Dante Martin always had a real chip on his shoulder. He was always out there trying to really prove that he belonged. And Javon is so much more laid back and chill. Like he knows he belongs and he's a lot more confident. And I think that that's going to help him in the long term in a big way.
didn't he even like several months ago? Didn't we see an interview where he was like sometimes he'll intentionally like miss a move or mess
Yeah.
up a move, like
Yep.
look like he messes up, just so he shows like
Yeah. I
it
mean, he
isn't
said
always
that.
easy to pull all these
He
moves.
definitely said that. I don't believe it for shit, but I know he said
Yeah,
that for sure.
I don't know, dude. Honestly, I think you're on the smart side. I'll put it that way. But I'm keeping an open mind that maybe he does just have that kind of mind for the business. I mean, because I don't know. Because here's the other good thing. There were good influences that guys like Javon, I'm assuming, grew up around like AJ Styles, and we know AJ Styles could sometimes turn a botch into a story. So maybe Javon kind of learned from that. Who knows? But yeah, no, I like that you shouted him there because I agree. Um, but that's pro wrestling essentially. I like that we had a little
Yes.
sidebar discussion this week as far as wrestling goes.
Let's
But
talk about
anything else you
politics,
want?
bud.
Okay, let's rip the fucking band-aid off. Okay, so I want to talk about Graham Plattner, but here's the thing. I know I normally leave like election data and stuff like that to you, but this isn't exactly about the data yet. So I guess we could just both give our thoughts
Yeah,
on Plattner, and then I could just leave it to you to break down any numbers you have to break down for us this
sure.
week. Um, I mean, yeah, like apparently these accusations are very credible. We always try and lead with, believe women on this show, which is still a big problem for a lot of people to do. Although, to be fair, apparently, like the first accusations he got, that was from like a Heritage Foundation plant, which is really fucking scummy that people would want to do that. But these, according to everybody, carrying more weight. He is suspending his campaign. I think that was the right call. I think there's been a more interesting discourse about Plattner personally, because you know the circles I travel in politically. And people are like, we tried to tell you guys with the Nazi tattoo and everything else, like, do not fuck with this guy, do not trust this guy. And I think that's fair. I really make no excuses because, like, I wasn't like enthusiastic about him, but I did tepidly endorse it because I'm like, okay, we need to get beyond the Democratic establishment and like whatever. But I've just been thinking more and more lately, like, we need more standards for the people that we platform and we put forth that we want to make an alternate party. So I'm just glad he's out. I hope the woman that he hurt gets the restitution that she deserves. Like, I would like to center her there in that way. Like, I don't think this is over for him. I don't know if this is going to end up in court or where it's going to end up, or maybe nothing, as it unfortunately usually does. I just hope that the woman he harmed gets what she fucking needs and what she fucking deserves, whatever restitution looks like to her. And as far as he goes, he can fuck off. And really, here's the thing too. It really angers me, and then I want to leave it to you because I really have no business speaking at length about this because I haven't really talked much about Plattner leading up to this. But it really fucking angers me, the establishment Democrats, because I've heard some voices be like, oh, say what you will, but, at least the Democrats like vet their candidates. Oh, you mean like fucking Andrew Cuomo? You mean like fucking, I'm trying to think of like other people, but I know he was one. And like, yeah, it's funny that when it's establishment Dems, like it's not the whole party, but they're trying to make it seem like any DSA candidate, any candidate that's left of the center that defines the party, because it's a lot of centrists in the party. It's just they're all bad apples, right? And I fucking hate that shit. And I resent Graham Plattner for like putting people in that position. Because say what you will about DSA, and I have my own misgivings and my own like, let's be careful, guys, what we do here. But it can't be denied that they're making a material impact within the broader Democratic Party. And like those of us that are far left should be seizing on that and capitalizing on that. And I've tried to be more vocal about that. But Graham Plattner and people like him put us in the unenviable position of now we're on the defensive. Because see, the establishment never has to defend the Cuomos or the Clintons or whatever. They just get to exist all the time. And the genocide deniers and everything else. Like they have a lot to answer for, but they never fucking do. You get one Graham Plattner, which is still one too many. And I'm glad that the left broadly like rejected him and was like, fuck off. But now I feel like we're on the back foot having to defend and be like, no, this isn't emblematic of an entire party. And I just think it's bullshit. Of course, coming from the establishment because they're scared of what the DSA is doing. They're scared of what the base is saying. They're scared. I will say this in line with that. Cato Institute, which is a right-wing think tank, came out ahead of the 250th anniversary of America, July 4th, and said, Gen Z favors socialism more than capitalism, and of any age group, they have the most positive view of communism. Still lower than like capitalism or socialism, but higher than every other age group. They see the tide is turning. So they want to take a Graham Plattner, they want to inflate it and make it seem like that's all the party is. Well, next time a fucking Bill Clinton or something comes out, which won't take very fucking long, we'll just say, oh, that's the entire Democratic Party, because why the fuck not? So that's just my kind of petty sour grapes, but I do just want to hand it over to you. So what are your whole thoughts on the Platter situation now that we've had a few days to like let this kind of breathe and come out?
Truthfully, so The accusations are very credible, and I do feel horrible for this woman. Apparently, she was like telling people about it. Like she told her friend or multiple friends about it. She told her therapist about it long before Plattner ever even thought about running for a seat. So these are not just like, like out of the blue, out of nowhere allegations that might be getting drummed up by the establishment to screw him over. This is a very credible thing that, like, it's hard to deny the very high likelihood that this is just real, that he really did this. And so obviously, fuck Graham Plattner for that, for sure. I do hope that he is actually working on himself and not just saying that because he thought that it would lead to him winning power. Um, I'm glad he dropped out. That's a huge relief that he dropped out, because not only uh, was him dropping out the only shot that Democrats had at winning Maine after these accusations, but even before the accusations, the popularity of Graham Plattner was dropping really fast. And there were actually polls coming out that had Susan Collins actually winning Maine before the rape allegation, even with Plattner on the ballot. That's how bad things were getting for his reputation, even before the rape allegation. So this shit was getting really bad. Him dropping out was probably the best thing he could have done for the people of Maine, because now there is going to be a 600-person in-person, uh, I guess, meeting, conference, I don't know what you want to call it, by the Maine Democratic Party, where they will determine a new nominee for Senate. And I don't, like, you know what? I'm going to pull up Kalshi and see if I can find out what the odds are, who the most likely candidate is that's going to win. Maine Dem Senate. Yeah, here we go. Good. This is exactly what I was hoping I would see. So the highest odds on Kalshi, which again, they don't really know, but it's good to know odds. Highest odds right now at 68% chance is Troy Jackson. That's the dude that we fucking want. That's our guy. Troy Jackson is a guy who espouses a lot of the same leftist, anti establishment, anti billionaire, pro workers values that Graham Plattner espoused, but there are zero controversies. He's been working as a public servant since the year 2000. This dude has a track record, no controversies whatsoever, no baggage, no skeletons in his closet. If he's on the ballot, he will win. He will unseat Susan Collins, and we will have a Democrat as a senator from Maine for the first time in a long time. Troy Jackson's who we want to win. Um, Second place here, I'm seeing at 22% Shayna Bellows. So that's, I guess, like, I'm not as familiar with her, so I don't want to say anything about her negative or positive, but she, I guess, is the most likely behind Troy Jackson. I am just going to just kind of chill out and just let it happen, hoping that they nominate Troy Jackson, because he's clearly the front runner. He, from what I understand, the main reason that he wasn't in the actual primary is because he just wasn't all that interested in being a senator, which is also like the exact type of value you want in a senator, is someone that doesn't want that power. But after the Plattner situation, he stepped up and he said, "I'm going to fill out the paperwork so that I can become eligible for this race." And he called on Plattner to drop out, and like he did and said all the right things. I'm really rooting for Troy Jackson to win the nomination, because if he does, he will win that Senate seat. There's very little doubt in my mind. Actually, there was a poll that came out, I think within the last month or so, that had Plattner at like +1 over Collins. And that same poll also wanted to just kind of test the waters on other Democratic candidates. It had Troy Jackson at +5. And
Beautiful.
this was
Yeah.
before he was even actually like considering running. So I think he's going to win, and he might even win by a landslide, because Mainers fucking hate Susan Collins. They are so over her shit. Um, so that is the real hope, is that they nominate Troy Jackson to be the replacement for Plattner. We can put all this Plattner nonsense behind us. We can pretend that it never happened. Troy Jackson can step in, and you know what though? I will say, even though I say we can pretend it never happened, we do. I think there are definitely lessons to be learned from the Plattner situation, and it's not just like, oh, bearded, blue collar looking white men are not to be trusted. I don't think that's the correct takeaway here. But I do think that somebody who shows up out of absolutely nowhere with no past of public service is sus immediately. We have to be suspicious of
Yeah.
people who kind of pop up out of nowhere like that. Fetterman was the exact same situation. I mean, even
Yeah.
like Abdul El Sayed, I love him, and like he's a doctor. Like that's if that's not a public service, I don't know what the fuck it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like we've got James Tallarico down in Texas. He's been in the Texas House of Representatives for years now, and what I love about him is that he actually was the first politician to really utilize TikTok as a medium to communicate with his base. He was on TikTok after getting elected, by the way. This wasn't him trying to get elected. This was after he was elected to the Texas State House. He used TikTok for transparency. He went on TikTok and he was showing people who followed him what the process was in the state house, basically, for how things work, for how things get done, for how bills get drawn up, bills get voted on, and how procedure works and stuff like that. And he was even like going out of his way to shine a light on some of the potential corruption that he had to work through from other members of the house. Like it was really good shit. So like that's why when I heard that Tallarico was running for Senate, I was immediately behind him because I had known about him from TikTok from like 2021 or something like that. Because he's been out there on, public social media trying to bring more transparency to government. I love that for him. But yeah, Plattner was literally, there were like two people who were still going to college working for a consulting firm that found Plattner and were like, we want you to run for Senate. And they did I forget what the word is, but like they did like an expedited, that's what it was. They did an expedited background check on him. They found out about some, but not all of his Reddit posts, and they found out about the Nazi tattoo. And they were like, we didn't think it would be a big enough deal to not get him elected.
Yeah. Which, I mean, here's the thing. Like, they're not necessarily wrong to think that, given what we've shown, what we've like tolerated as a collective in the past from Democratic candidates, rhetorically or otherwise. It's just, I do think politics is changing, but I think also, Kyle Kowinski made a great point because Gavin Newsom put out a video recently where he was like, "Oh, it's time for a billionaire tax and everything else," even though he recently rejected a billionaire tax like in his state of California. We have to be so careful of candidates who parrot the rhetoric, but like we need to look at, like you said, the background, like do they have any public service, whatever, or have they come out of nowhere? Because like you said, sus. And if they have a history of political leadership, whether like senator or governor or whatever, how did they govern? We cannot allow people to parrot the rhetoric, but it being so asymmetrical to how they govern. Because Gavin Newsom's a fucking snake, just to use him as the example. And for him to come out now and be like, oh, wealth inequality has been a problem for too long and we need to make the American dream accessible again. Where the fuck have you been, dude? Like, you're only saying this now again because the data shows so clearly where the base is headed, where the base is going because of their very real, very urgent material concerns. And I am just very wary of candidates coming up, especially in 2028. I mean, that's kind of on my mind, but we got to get through midterms first. That like parrot these talking points, but have none of the substance to actually back it up. That is like a huge concern of mine. Huge concern of mine.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm picking up everything you're laying down, though, man. I just wanted to add my 2 cents there. I will say too about Syed. I saw that I think it was Senator Van Hollen endorsed him
Chris Van
recently.
Hollen, yeah, he's a potential 2028 presidential candidate. I think he's a really cool, really solid senator.
Well, wasn't he one of the guys that went to like an ICE facility? Like one
Yeah.
of the few guys that I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Which, by the way, not to like jump ahead because I still want this to be your segment where you talk about any potential numbers and stuff like that. But man, Ro Khanna fucking getting detained by the fucking IDF, that was insane. Like, so you've got more and more senators that, like, again, are listening. The people that have the political aptitude to look at where the winds are blowing they're the ones that really want to be president. They don't just think that they're owed the presidency. They're willing to work for it. Like Josh Shapiro, and again, this is my opinion. I do not live in Pennsylvania. I've just seen clips of the guy and I've read stuff about the guy. He comes off as a guy that feels entitled to the presidency. If Ro Khanna wants to be president, he's actually playing the political game because he's hearing what the base is saying about Israel,
Yep.
and he's like, "Oh, let me go over there myself." And he actually got in a confrontation with the IDF like that, and thank goodness he survived because this shit isn't a fucking game. But given that he survived, let's be real, that's major political points for him. Like people are gonna look at that, they're gonna be like, "Oh my god!" Like finally a politician confronted Israel. That's gonna play so well to any prospects that he wants. I'm telling you, like I would rather people play this game and like actually listen to the base than people that think that they could get by on mere rhetoric. But I'm gonna put a pin in that because I'm gonna be able to give all you guys the updates in a little bit. Ashton, is there any election data or any kind of updates or anything that you want to give us on any races that are on your mind?
No, not really anything new. The anti-Trump sentiment is cooling off a little bit still, just because gas prices are still pretty low relative to what they were in like May, April time when they were like
Yeah.
4.50 a gallon. Now they're down to like 3.80-ish. Um, but I really genuinely believe that, especially if Troy Jackson is the nominee in Maine, I really think that the Dems are going to have a 53 senators in office starting after the midterms. I really do, because I think they're going to win all of Alaska, Maine, Michigan, Ohio, Iowa, and Texas. I think they're winning all of it. I think they're going to take all of it. And I think Georgia and North Carolina are both locks.
And I gotta say this too, and I'm saying this in agreement with you just to get out ahead of it. I know there have been like reports about like, oh, they're tampering with election commissions or this and that. For one thing, I'm still, and this could be a naive point for me. We could come back all these months later and I could eat crow again. My throat's used to it, okay? But I still feel like this could be a too big to rig kind of scenario with how underwater this regime is. But even if it isn't, even if they quote unquote get away with it, like I feel like we are so close because I know you're mentioning gas prices now, but bro, I swear, because we know the Strait of Hormuz is still closed, that has got to be because they're using strategic reserves. And those are going to run out.
Yeah.
And it's going to balloon back up again if we don't get a resolution on this. Even if we would get a resolution on it, we've already seen the reports that, like, oh, gas prices won't stabilize until 2020 or 2030 or however long.
Yeah, I'm looking
So
right
I
now. I do have a Hormuz Strait Monitor website pinned in our politics channel of the Discord, and the cost per barrel of crude oil peaked in May, at the beginning of May, at $114 a gallon. It very recently bottomed out at around like 68-ish, I want to say. Actually, no, it wasn't even quite that low. It was like 71-ish dollars per barrel. Then when Trump, actually, I don't even know if it was when Iran struck the carriers in the strait or if it was when Trump, you know, did all the strikes in Iran. It went back up to like 75, but it has since come back down already. And the current price is like, or actually, when I said it went up to 75, that was wrong. It went up to like 80, 182, and now it's back down to 75. So cost for crude oil, a gallon or a barrel of crude oil is all the way back down to like, yeah, like $75 a barrel. To be clear, before all of this escalation, it was under $60.
And that's the thing, like I just still feel like, and I could be wrong, wouldn't be the first time, but that like bigger crises are on the horizon economically.
Yeah.
Like even if not this, I still worry about the AI bubble. You know, that there's a lot to worry about. So all of this to say, and again, you look at the Cato Institute data that I mentioned earlier, which I found hella fucking fascinating, especially again from Gen Z, that we are seeing the burgeoning, and I say burgeoning, or like we see the embryonic form of, because it could change, propaganda and all that, it's a lot to overcome. But we're seeing the embryonic form of an anti-capitalist generation. And that's really fascinating to me. And more people, even if they're not anti-capitalist because they don't have that class consciousness, they're sure as shit anti-Trump right now. They're sure as shit like anti this regime. So even if there was a successful amount of rigging, like how long before civil unrest then at that point? Like I just feel like, and I've been saying this for a while, I feel like midterms are going to be a referendum on a lot. They're going to be a referendum on more than just Trump, which I feel like is going to come out like against him. But I think it's also going to be a referendum on, can these institutions still hold? You know, can we still do business as usual? Is there going to be a spike in civil unrest? Like I just feel like a lot's at stake here. And so I'm glad when we talk about these races and stuff because, and really again, it's on the Democrats too. Because to kind of take the ball and kind of give some breakdowns here, ICE is still killing people. You know, there was a murder this week that I wanted to talk about. I hope that I pronounce this man's name correctly because we know that me and pronunciation, well, I usually pretty consistently take freaking L's. Let me just find his name. Okay, there we go. Um, July 7th, ICE murdered Lorenzo Salgado Arojo. I think that's how you pronounce it. Profuse apologies if that's incorrect. He was a father. I believe he was 38 years old. He was on his way to work. He was, I believe, an architect. He was a laborer. I will put it that way. And I stopped him. They pinned him to the ground. And yeah, he ended up dead. His sons would find out later. They would give a press conference. They were in tears, you know, for so many years. Their father was just trying to earn an honest living, provided for them. His wife made him lunch every day. They said it was such a weird feeling, like they woke up and they just don't have a dad anymore. And it was heartbreaking. Like I watched that press conference with his son, and that it cuts deep. And there was another video I saw where they fractured the skull of another person. We've heard about rapes in detention facilities. We've heard about child pregnancies. I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to sugarcoat it with underage child pregnancies in ICE facilities, and then they kind of move them somewhere else. They transfer them somewhere else. To me, the conservative position is like defund ICE or whatever. Like this just needs to be abolished. Again, I don't like the Pritzkers of the world that it's like we're against Trump's ICE. No, 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 motherfucker. There was a United States of America and there was immigration enforcement before ICE. Because I feel like ICE was an early 2000s invention. They've only been around like a little over 20 years. We can do without them. We don't fucking need them. And I'm not even trying to, peddle my communist shit of no borders. I mean, that's my ideal. But even if you want to do immigration like reform and have borders and this and that, you can do it. It's fucking possible. And you don't need ICE to fucking do it. No, you need to abolish this fucking agency. You need to hold a trial for all these fucking motherfuckers, including the names aren't coming to me, but the heads of them, especially the one that really wants to be fucking Hitler so bad. His name's escaping
Oh,
me
he
right now.
already got cut, didn't he? I thought that was like a whole
He
story a few months ago.
he got cut. He got cut, but I don't know if he got relegated to something else though. Like if he's still influencing other stuff. But I still feel like there need to be criminal proceedings against him and fucking Tom Homan, who was also he was appointed in the Obama administration, by the way. Just to point that out, just to keep that clear for everybody. Yeah, I mean, fuck this whole agency, and what's happening is obscene, and it just has so much fucking money. It's a militarized fucking force. On top of the militarized force we already have with police. So just it's fucking great fucking society we live in. So yeah, another ICE murder.
Mark Wayne Mullen, that's the guy you're looking for. Mark Wayne Mullen.
Thank you. Yeah, Mark Wayne Mullen. Yeah, just and Dan, yeah, not Dan Bongino. Greg Bavino, I think. Bavino was the name I was
the
also
Hitler
trying to think
guy.
of.
Yep.
Yeah, Bavino. Yeah. So yeah, ICE just with another murder. I am so sorry to that man's family. I'm sorry to everybody's family and friends that ICE has killed, because I guarantee you could put out a list. It's more. Any list you see is conservative. I guarantee you there are more deaths because I mean we have concentration camps in this country. What do you think happens in those camps, right? So that there is a mass undercount. I'm pretty fucking sure. In lighter news, mainly because we all like to laugh. Mitch McConnell's probably dead, and by probably I mean almost fucking certainly.
I mean, if
Last I
he's
heard,
not dead, he should just make a statement saying he's not fucking dead.
yeah, yeah. So he's
I saw
definitely
that
dead.
the Kentucky governor, Andy Beshear, has come out and basically demanded signs of life, and people are trying to pressure him into holding a special election to replace him.
Yes.
So hopefully I mean, that's kind of a miracle that we have a Democrat senator in Kentucky that can actually maybe do something about this. Like, we're not just completely beholden to the Republican Party in this.
You know, the cruel fucking irony is what they're doing with Mitch McConnell's body and just his life as like a political tool of obstruction. He would have loved this. Like Mitch McConnell, if he was actually like with his faculty and stuff, he would have loved this because it was all about obstructing shit.
Yep.
So like he would have been like, yeah, even post mortem, I get to fucking do it. And
whenever Trump dies, however many months that takes for that to happen, he's gonna get to hell and he's gonna get to tell Mitch, Mitch, we managed to drag out your election to replace you until after August 3rd, so it wasn't a special election, and that son of a bitch Massey couldn't take your spot. And Mitch is just going to smile. He's just going to be like, oh, Donald, you know the way to my heart.
Yeah. You just made me come out of my shell.
You just made me come out of something, that's for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, and then the maraschino cherry on top of all of this, his wife is almost certainly a Chinese fucking spy, which I find hilarious.
She's back in the U.S.
Yeah.
apparently.
Say that again.
She's back in the U.S. apparently now.
Yeah. Well, isn't that great for her? So I'd love to know what she was talking to people in China about. That on top of like people in the Pentagon and stuff being like, hey, Israel's kind of a national security threat, at least for us. We're feeling pretty compromised. So, yeah, great security the U.S. has got going on there with everything. I'm sure it's all going to work itself out. So that's all been happening. I'm seeing here that Gallup posted that apparently a parasite spreading across the U.S. and Taco Bell had to change popular menu items. And this, of course, is happening because there have been huge budget cuts and staff cuts to the FDA.
Yep.
Who would have
First,
thought
first it was the measles outbreak down in Texas. Then it was a screwworm outbreak also in Texas. Now we've got this shit.
Yeah. I'm just wondering when the food's going to, like, claim me or someone I care about. I'm like, I feel like we're all playing Russian roulette because rich people are fucking psychopaths. Like, this world. You know what? I gotta say this too, just as a sidebar. I'm sorry because this has been weighing on my mind for the last several days. There are times I could be really hard on myself. Like, and I definitely think I have mental illnesses that I should probably do more to address. Like, I will readily embrace that. But you can't expect to be mentally healthy in a world like this. Like, there's only so much you could put on yourself and be like, you need to fix you. No, the world needs to fucking fix itself, okay? Like, capitalism needs to fuck all the way off because there's no way to be a mentally and emotionally well-adjusted person in a society like this. When you see the people we protect, when you see what we actually valorize as a society, like, anybody that's angry about this, anybody that's despondent at times about this, I want to assure you, you're having the normal reaction. Maybe not the best reaction, and obviously take care of yourself, but like, yeah, I don't blame you, and I'm fucking with you, because this shit's insane. It's disgusting, it's shameful, it's insane. And so yeah, that's happening, because who would have thought that the FDA was important? Let's see, what else? I did just want to point out again, just because heat waves are continuing, and I'm seeing more climate discourse in the past month than I have in so many fucking years, that the climate scientists that were fired from their federal positions have banded together and they have formed an independent website called climate.us. I have pinned it in our Discord. Discord access is $3 a month. I will also post it in the chat here for anybody that wants it now or is watching this on replay. And one thing is, scientists have been talking about El Nino, which I oscillate between being fucking terrified to definitely still being scared, but being like, maybe it won't be that bad. But yeah, we're definitely entering a new climate, people. I'm hearing about, agricultural yields being lower because of droughts and heat waves. Temperatures are going to really potentially change radically with this El Nino, warmer winters and stuff like that. In other parts, you could be getting more flooding. And yet we're not really doing anything about that. We're not doing a green revolution. We're not. The most I have heard was a CNN article talking about geoengineering, spraying some particles in the ocean so that they could refract, I guess, like more sunlight or whatever. And I'm like, cool. So we're doing just geoengineering, which I'm not even necessarily against, but like the tech oligarchs again are psychopaths. So I don't really like trust what they have in mind. Again, Bill Gates once suggested, hey guys, what if we turn down the sun? That's just insane to me. I'm sorry.
So that's literally just Project Hail Mary, except intentional.
Exactly. So, yeah. And then I guess the only other fun thing, because as far as international news, guys, I mean, the Iran war is continuing. Trump put out a post on Truth Social, um, being like, oh, if Iran assassinates me, which, as I believe Kyle pointed out, well, really, Crystal Ball pointed out to Kyle, and then Kyle reiterated it, like, in his segment. Um, if I'm Israel and if I want Iran to be a failed state, why wouldn't I just stage an assassination and blame it on Iran? Which, like, wouldn't even be that much of a hard sell to the political class. I mean, certainly to the base, we would see what's up. But to the political class, of course, they'd be like, oh, yeah, any pretext to continue this shit.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, if they assassinate me, I've given the order to just pretty much bomb the shit out of them. I mean, I'm grossly paraphrasing here, but that's the spirit of it. And then he ended it with, praise be to Allah. I'm sorry for laughing. I'm so sorry, but like, you got to see it from my vantage point. I don't know how many of you can relate. It is really something to have come up in the American educational system and reading about Watergate and Bill Clinton and like civil rights, like all these moments in American history, and really even just ancient history, fall of the Roman Empire, stuff like that. And you think, wow, I wonder if I'll ever live through times like that. Boy, will you fucking ever. And you didn't even know it. This is the most cognitively just addled president we have probably ever had. Because Reagan got bad towards the end of his run, but like, I still feel like he was more coherent than this shit. And yeah, like this
You know
is
what,
nuts,
though? To be
man.
fair, Reagan didn't have access to a phone in his era. He couldn't just send out whatever the fuck was on his dementia-addled mind at any given time like Trump can.
Yeah, dude, that's so true. And like, look, you and I have our fun like off the podcast, and I've already told you, like, it's a shame we live in such a dystopic nightmare because the dementia does occasionally pop me. Like the homoeroticism that he has had for other authoritarian leaders, that pops the fucking shit out of me because he's
Not
just
even just
unhinged.
authoritarians. He's clearly got a crush on Mamdani.
Oh, dude, absolutely. I'll never forget that one photo where he's looking up at him and
Yeah,
just the smile on his face.
just Myron.
Dude, what's crazy about Trump's brain, because I don't know if you saw this to circle back to, did you see what he said about Graham Plattner?
Oh God, what did he say about Plattner?
Dude, it's
Is
so
this
funny how his
recent,
brain
like
works.
post allegations?
Post allegations, yeah, he actually covered for Plattner. At first, he was like, "Oh, he's a Marxist. You can't trust him," because he's been on the whole like anti-communist thing. We're doing
Yeah,
McCarthyism
of
again.
course.
But then the allegations came out. And he's like, "Well, you can't be too. You got to be careful. What you believe in stuff. A lot of stuff gets said out there." And I'm like, "Oh my god, his brain is pudding, but there's still enough in there." Where it's like he has a switch in there to be like protect rapists, and like because obviously he's in that club. It is insane, dude. Like I really obviously I'm angry, and obviously as a leftist I try and do what I can. I'll admit more so internationally because U.S. imperialism is just fucking ghoulish. But I know we're all doing what we can. But guys, I'm just gonna level with you, and I'm speaking solely for myself here anymore. I just look at it kind of stupefied, and I laugh a little. I'm like, this is insane. Like, I never thought, like, I knew we were kind of a shit country for many reasons. This is a level beyond that. This is almost parody. It is insane the shit that comes out of his mouth, how he's hit on people, how he has no sense of direction, how he very clearly is getting medication for dementia, and God knows what else. I know there are other people that are saying he's got diabetes, which isn't a hard sell at all. I readily believe that. Obviously, he's got cardiovascular issues, but they are pumping him so full of fucking drugs. I'll be amazed if they don't what do they call that? Like embalm him, like do that whole thing like you do with the fucking corpse to preserve it. Like they're just gonna put him with like embalming fluid just to keep him going. That way. It's just insane. And everybody's just wondering when the fuck he's gonna croak. Sometimes I even wonder if he's just gonna live through 2028, to be quite honest with you. Because and what's crazy is, and I'm getting a little personal here, I used to have the same rhetoric about my dad. Because I would always be like, oh, he does so many drugs, like when is he gonna kick it? But people like that, you'd be surprised how long they can fucking live. And he just is just more and more of a train wreck
I
every
actually
goddamn
just
day.
recently watched a video on, I think it was on Reddit, of
Yeah.
a uh, doctor who was doing a PhD who is like super versed on the elderly and Alzheimer's and dementia, and apparently uh, elderly patients who are both sundowning and wandering, which we have plenty of proof of Trump doing both, are in like stages 5 and 6 of dementia, which is like your time is up. You're living on borrowed time. Like you're literally like he could die tomorrow and it shouldn't surprise anyone type shit.
Yeah, yeah.
But because he has
Uh,
this like state of the art healthcare, because he's the president of the United States and they're desperately doing everything they can to keep his ass alive, he's outliving projections basically.
yes, yes, because he has access to government-funded healthcare and God knows what else.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't that be fucking nice for the rest of us that have loved ones suffering from dementia or cancer or anything else? But no, we just get told to go fuck ourselves. And in that spirit, I have to say too, I've been hearing more about flock cameras recently.
Yeah,
And
getting fucking knocked over and people stealing the fucking resources out of them and shit.
and the fucking one of the CEOs of Flock was like, oh, because there's this organization DFlock that I think is about educating people on Flock
Nice.
cameras and how
Love
to
it.
deprogram and stuff like that. But they called out DFlock and they're like, oh, they're part of the Antifa terror cell. And I'm telling y'all, like, be careful out there. I should say that for me too, because I got a loud fucking mouth. I mean, if I'm being real, but like the way they're doing the anti-communist rhetoric and like on steroids, because the US has always done this rhetoric, but I feel like it's really escalated recently, and the way they're just lumping anything like even an inch to the left of like far right conservatism as like communism.
Mm-hmm.
Even your milk toast like Clintonite liberal, you may think you're safe, you're not. They'll call you a communist before long too. So in my mind, I agree with my comrades that are like, hey, if they're already calling you a communist, might as well do communist shit. Because yeah, the way that they're just brandishing anything as anti, and again, we've already talked about the Prairie Land defendants, which by the way, update on that, another woman got sentenced who wasn't even at the protest, July 4th protest of 2025 outside of that ICE detention center. She got 6 years for aiding a quote Antifa cell. This shit is serious, y'all.
Yeah.
Because this goes to legislation, this goes to juridical power, the judicial branch, which is also co-opted by the far right. There are a lot of like, conservative judges that want to, send a message. They're going to call us all communists. And even people that don't want fucking cameras in their communities, CEOs are going to be like, oh, they're part of Antifa. It's going to be the new catchword. And I'm not telling you not to do shit and not to be disrupted. Quite the contrary, actually. I'm just saying, be careful. If you go to a protest, don't bring your fucking phone. Mask up. Learn how to, scramble flock cameras or like throw them off. Do your due diligence essentially, because this is what they're doing now. This is the new rhetorical game. Anything they don't like, anything that they want to stigmatize as Antifa or terrorist or anything else. But anything a far right does, like an ICE agent could kill somebody, they could rape a teen girl and impregnate her. Oh, they're an American patriot. Language fucking matters, and they're talking about us in a way that we're all being stigmatized and dehumanized by these people. So just, keep that in mind. I don't really think I have anything else to say. I guess just on the Trump thing, just because I really should have mentioned this specific story. His gaffes are getting worse. He called Zelensky Putin, I think, multiple times, and he misnamed the Islamic Republic of Iran to the Islamic Republic of Japan. And he had other gaffes too. So again, he's just declining, just rapidly. And I just don't know how much longer. Like, part of me cynically thinks, oh, he'll live to see 2028. And another part of me thinks, is he even going to live to see the rest of this year? Who really fucking knows?
I really don't think he's going to.
And you know what, bro? I don't blame you, right? And I always say, like, I feel like you're the more pragmatic
The
of
thing
the two
is,
of
like,
us.
the
I
same
readily
way
see
that they're
that, but
trying to draw out Mitch McConnell's death just to get past that August 3rd deadline, they're going to try and keep Trump alive until January 20th so that Vance can take over with 2 eligible elections left so that he doesn't have to lose one of his eligible elections on being vice president to become president.
yeah, exactly.
That's really what it comes
Um,
down to, I think, honestly.
Yeah. And again, international news, I really have nothing to report. I mean, Gaza genocide is continuing. I don't have any updated numbers. They're just so fucking high and it's so fucking. I saw a video today. Like, I wish I didn't watch it. It's kind of seared into my brain now. I'm not going to even describe it. I want to spare you guys that. I'll take that on me. It's my fault. I'll bear the full brunt of it. But what is happening to Palestinians is just disgusting. I don't want us to forget that there's a genocide going on there. And I know there's a lot to juggle here. Believe me, I know better than anybody because I'm still fucking trying, probably to my own detriment. But things have got to change. And the only positive I have is I do think things are changing, not just domestically, but internationally. When you see the alliances that are forming, when you see the moves that are happening, I don't know how it all is going to end. I'm not going to be overly optimistic and be like, oh, communism's here. But I do think, again, the masses, you, me, Ashton, people that are like us abroad in Gaza, Argentina, whatever, we're all getting fucking sick of these fucking people. And it's just a matter of what getting sick means nation by nation. Because I'll tell you what, this week, as far as international news goes, I do have a little piece of something. Indonesia, the people were fighting against austerity measures. They broke down a barricade and they got into a fight with police. And they were setting shit on fire, right? For us, getting sick is we're going to push the candidates we want to push. We're going to vote you motherfuckers out in the midterms. And if that doesn't work, I would hope that we could learn something from Indonesia, to be quite honest. But we'll have to wait and see. In France, we already know what they do. It varies country by country. But whatever it looks like, don't let these people fucking pacify you. Don't let these people fucking mute you, because a lot's at stake here. And especially with the heat waves and me thinking about the climate lately, like, I would like to see more progress on the climate here. Because it's not looking fucking good. Especially, again, if you trust the science, which I would like to think all of us do. So, yeah, just fuck these people. Power to the people in Indonesia and everywhere. I'd like to get an update on Bolivia, but I haven't heard anything recently. So I should check in on that because I know protests against that government were going. But yeah, I mean, it's a worldwide thing, guys. It's a worldwide thing. A lot of people are sick of their governments because there are a lot of authoritarians in power, and far right politics fucking sucks. It always has. So that's that. And yeah, I guess there's really nothing else on the politics side without
It's
getting
also
redundant.
just wild that like they've really gotten to the point that they're just labeling Antifa as a terrorist organization, and Antifa is literally just being anti-fascist, which, like, tell me you're a fascist without telling me you're a fascist. That's literally what they're doing.
Exactly. Exactly. But, fascism's the new patriotism. And again, when they control so much of the media, they're going to propagate the messages they want to, which is why independent media, even spaces like this, no, look, I'm not trying to jerk us off. I know we don't get like a lot of viewership, certainly not for our politics. I think if we do get any viewership, it's probably more wrestling based. But I like when any platform, big and small, that's independent, talks about the stuff that we talk about, because anything that can jam the messaging that gets pumped out constantly, even if in vain, it's still an attempt. It's still something, because there need to be counter narratives always. Because the narratives they're putting out, and you already see it. You see what they're trying to do with DSA. You see what they're trying to do with social. Oh, socialism's bad. Oh, Mamdani, he's gonna fail in the end. What fail in the end? Giving a better standard of living to people, like freezing rent so that people don't have to worry about getting evicted from their homes. Like what? Making sure children, God forbid, eat and they don't have school lunch debt, which is still one of the most odious concepts I've ever fucking heard. Like, I'm tired of these people, and you guys already know that I'm tired, so I'm not gonna go on all rant about that. But things are changing, and I'm very curious where midterms are gonna go, but we're still a ways away. So I'm gonna close the book on that, and by doing that, close the book on politics. So now we can get to pop culture, and what a fun week it was for us, huh? A lot of good stuff here. We watched Mike and Nick and Alice,
Oh my
and that
god,
was
I
a great fucking
loved
movie.
that movie. It was so fun.
If you're a fan of James Marsden and Vince Vaughn, which, I mean, James Marsden is just Bay at this point. I fucking
Yes.
adore that man.
And let me just
And
say, by the way, as somebody who's not necessarily that big of a fan of Vince Vaughn, I've told John last night I don't love Vince Vaughn when he's in more of his like bumbling, stuttering doofus roles in his comedy movies. He was fantastic in this.
yeah, he was fucking great. I love the premise of this. I love the comedy in this. Even the action in this. There's a scene very
Yes.
early on in like the first, like, what would you say, Ashton, 20 minutes of the movie. That's really well done. Again, I want to be as vague as possible because I want you guys to watch this movie. But that was really well done. Like, yeah, just a really strong fucking movie if you haven't seen it.
Wait, are you
So
talking
yeah.
about the chloroform scene? Yeah,
Yes. I don't want to give too
yeah,
much away,
yeah. That's why
but yeah, like
I'm being vague because, uh, if you actually watch the movie, you'll see something about chloroform long before the actual scene happens that we're talking about.
yes. Uh, and so yeah, that was a really fun movie. We watched the Enola Holmes trilogy. I'd say the second film was the best one, and I
Yes.
just want to give a shout out both to Henry Cavill, who I'd like to see a standalone Sherlock film, and I had her name last night, and I've probably lost it now. But the actress that played Moriarty in the second and third film, she really fucking good. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I've
Her
got
name
the
is
Enola Holmes.
Sharon Duncan Brewster.
Yes, I'm looking right at it. You are correct. She was tremendous. Absolute delight to watch. Loved her. So yeah, the second film though was my favorite of the trilogy. And yeah, Millie Bobby Brown. I don't know. At first I thought she had a really bright future post Stranger Things. Now I don't know. Now I don't know.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean the thing is, like the the first season of Stranger Things, she was a freaking phenom. She was awesome. Um, but the thing is, that first season of Stranger Things, she also barely spoke and did most of her acting with her eyes and facial expressions. And the further on in the seasons, the worse she got. And it might just be that she was kind of growing up and that she was losing interest in acting and because she wanted to have a life outside of acting because she was no longer a child star being puppeted by her parents, which good for her. Or it could just be that she was never that good of an actress to begin with and they wanted to give her a bigger role and she didn't have the ability to kind of hold up to it.
yeah. But we did that. We all did Project Hail Mary, which I know you kind of mentioned that we
I
did.
loved Project Hail Mary. That was really good.
Ryan Gosling, man, he's really made quite a filmography for himself. You
Yes.
know,
You give me
I
Ryan Gosling in any kind of movie that has comedy or action in it, and especially if it is an action comedy movie, and I don't give a fuck what the premise is, I'm there. I'm in the seat watching the movie every time.
I don't know if you'd want to give credit to like his agent or to Gosling himself, but like they know what works.
Yeah.
And yeah, another
It's
solid
just so
installment
funny
from
though
him.
because he was like the heartthrob for the first like decade or two of his acting career. Let's not forget this is the same Ryan Gosling who was a young man in like the Mickey Mouse Club in the 90s. He was in Remember the Titans and then like he became like full-blown heartthrob like he was in The Notebook. Everyone loved him in that. And then like I don't know what happened at what point his career shifted towards the like comedy action stuff, but I'm so glad it did because that's some of his best work in my opinion.
Undoubtedly, brother. Um, let's see here. I just want to say for me, while I'm thinking of other stuff, I did get Apple TV Plus. So, because it's my brother's birthday, it's his birthday month. 'Cause his birthday already passed, but we do a whole month in this house, and so we watched a show, Murderbot, with Alexander Skarsgård. He's like the main guy in it, and I feel like one other person who I'm blanking on their name, but it's this story about a robot who overcomes what's known as the governance protocol. So he's pretty much like gained autonomy for himself. And all he wants to do is watch TV. And he's part of this crew that he got foisted on them because at first they didn't want to bring one of the bots because of their like belief system, but they're like, oh, we won't give you the insurance unless you take one of these bots. And so yeah, now he's got to protect this crew, and it's a really strong comedy. I'm really enjoying it. Some of the jokes have like made me laugh hard, and they've also got that cringe humor, like that Nathan Felder type humor, but not quite as strong, but still like in that ballpark. That I'm like, ooh. So yeah, Murderbot is the name of that show. It's a good. If you have Apple TV Plus, I highly recommend it. And also been rewatching Pluribus season 1 because I already watched it once with Ashton and
With
his mom, but now I'm watching
me,
it with
it's
my
such a
family.
good show.
Yes. Oh my God. I love it. It's me. It's me drinking HDP. I mean, I don't know how many people will get that reference, but you should watch the show so that you do get it and you can retroactively pop and be like, my
Yeah.
God, that John, he's so handsome and funny, which, like, thank you so much. So yeah, that was that was the thing. What else did we watch? Because I feel like we watched more stuff that I'm blanking on. Did we watch any more stuff like outside of Enola Holmes and like the stuff that I mentioned?
I
Um,
mean, we did watch the latest episode of Rick and Morty. That's a thing.
Season 9 has been great. Yeah,
Oh,
another
the
strong
only other
episode.
thing that we watched this week was Undead Unluck: The Winter Arc,
Yes, and I also enjoy that. Good
which
to have
it
Undead
was.
Unluck back in our lives. Yeah.
There were some really good fight scenes in that. But how are you going to have the Winter Arc and not have them actually do anything with the Winter Yuma? That makes no sense to me. Crazy.
Didn't make any sense to me either, and I'll say this, and I don't mean this as a diss or a critique, just an observation. It was a 48-minute special, and man, did it fucking fly by. I feel like with
Yeah.
with fans that waited that long, I would have almost liked like a 90-minute type film, like an hour and a half type film or something. I was like, it really kind of surprised me that it was only 48 minutes. But hopefully, because you said that they were working on a season
There
two, so
is going to
maybe
be
it'll
a
even come out
season
next year.
two. The production of season two started as early as like January of this year, from what I understand.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I'm who knows what 2027 will look like. We already know Don to Don season 3 is going to drop, and I can't fucking wait. So we'll see what else drops. But yeah, it's good to have Undead Unlocked back in the rotation, back
Yeah,
in
we know
people's minds.
Dandadan
Because
season 3 is a
yeah,
2027 drop.
yes,
Dude, you
yes.
realize we're more than halfway through 2026. That's how close we are to
Uh,
2027.
Dude, I know. The only question I have is it's going to be like a first quarter 2027 release? I'm thinking it's going to be a summer release. So I feel like it's going to be like, the halfway point of 2027. But, we'll see. But yeah, and by the way, to answer Draven's question, because he asked this earlier in chat, we have not touched X-Men 97 Season 2 yet. I'm excited, but a bit tentative because I know they changed showrunners because of the Bo DeMeo controversy. And so I'm curious like how much that's going to change the tone of the show, but I am excited to get to it because visually it's a fucking feast. And yeah, I am excited to get to that. On the music front for me, there's nothing new on the music front for me. Although, but I should tell you, I did listen to more Loud songs because you and I got in that conversation about
Nice.
Comfortable, and you told me about like the album. So I listened
I
to his
met you when
song, and I
I
think
was
I even
18. Yeah.
yeah, I think okay, so I bookmarked the song "Breathe"
Yeah.
because I thought that
That's
was
a good
pretty
one.
decent.
Yep.
And then I think I listened to another one, and I'm gonna be honest, that didn't hit as much. I forget the name of it, but like it wasn't hitting me as much as certainly "Comfortable" is still my favorite song of his that I've listened to. But I am starting to branch out a bit more with Love, so I guess that's like the big thing music
I
wise I
like
did
I
this
think he
week.
has more than one, but I'm not like I don't want to make like a bet on it or anything. I like his work with Julia Michaels. I think they have at least one song together, maybe two. But I know I like the one if it's just the one, and I think that if there's more than one, I like both of them or all of them.
Right. Mm-hmm.
There's no way is the one that I know I like. It's him and Julia Michaels. I love that song. It's basically like you would love that song too because it's basically about two people who are friends, but like they both know that they're good for each other and they have chemistry and they're into each other. And the theme of the song is like, there's no way this isn't going to happen, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, I would love a song like that. Admittedly,
It's
yeah, you've
it's
got me pegged pretty
really
well.
good. And okay, so the
Yeah.
other one I was thinking of is not Julia Michaels, it's Anne Marie, and it's called "Fuck I'm Lonely," and that's another really good one too.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, I really
Um,
like Lauv though. I don't think I've ever heard a Lauv song that I didn't like. He's just 100% hit rate for me.
he's okay. So again, this is just speaking for myself, and even me saying it, it feels like a tenuous connection. He's very similar for me to The Weekend in the sense that like I love the way the voice does what it does,
I get that for
right?
sure.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, like The Weekend could sing the phone book, and I'd be like, yeah, you sing that alphabet. And then like Lyle could sing the dictionary, and I'd be like, yeah, you sing aardvark like that. So I'm all about it, man. So I think that's it for me though, because again, really just the big thing for me was the Apple TV Plus and getting that back in our lives. And I'm really stoked about that
I
because
love
especially
that you're
then,
watching Pluribus with your family. Like
yeah.
we're here with a few other people. Everyone listening right now, if you have not seen Don to Don, if you have not seen Undead Unluck, if you have not seen Project Hail Mary, if you have not seen Mike and Nick and Alice, and if you have not seen Pluribus, those are like all fucking incredible properties that are not over yet that have more content coming out. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that about the movies. I don't know. They're probably not going to be another Project Hail Mary. There might be a Mike and Nick and Alice too. They set it up in a way that it's open for a sequel at the end of that. But they're all like fucking incredible properties that I cannot recommend enough. All five. Please, like, if you're listening to us, it's very likely that you're going to be here again next week. Go watch this shit before you get here next week so we can ask you about it and you can tell us what you thought. And you can just, talk about how wonderful this stuff is. Or you could just be like, what the fuck are you talking about? This shit sucks, which I don't think is going to happen, but you never know.
Think it's gonna happen either. And I agree with all of Ashton's recs, but especially when it comes to Undead Unluck and Dandadan, mainly because animation could use all the support it gets. I mean, that industry gets so fucked. Just with how people get really, I would say paid, but really it's more like underpaid and fucking shafted.
Yeah.
But yeah. But now I guess to turn it fully over to you, bud. I mean, gaming, music, anything to report on your end that you've done this week on your your cute little self that you want to talk about with everybody.
Okay, before I do get into that, I want to help Super Blue out here. So, Pluribus is a show on Apple TV. That's why John was just talking about it because his family just got Apple TV for his brother-in-law's birthday month. Mike and Nick and Alice is a movie, and that is on Hulu and Disney Plus, both. So I know you have both of those, Super Blue. Project Hail Mary, actually, I don't know what that's on. What is Project Hail Mary on? Is that on Netflix? I don't think so.
I think that's Prime, bro. I think that's Amazon Prime.
Yes, it is. Project Hail Mary is on Prime Video. Thank you, John. And then Don Don is on Netflix, and I think it's also on something else. I think that might just be Netflix, actually. No, that's
Yeah,
also on
Don
Hulu.
is Netflix.
But you know
Okay.
what? It's only one season on Hulu, but both seasons are on Netflix. And speaking of Hulu, Undead Unluck is on Hulu. So if you have Hulu, Undead Unluck is on there, and it's dubbed. Both of these anime are dubbed, and the voice casts are excellent on both of them. So don't be
Yes.
afraid to watch it dubbed. I love the dubbed version of both. I love watching YouTube reactors to properties that I enjoy, and I will not react to people reacting to the subbed version of shows that I love dubbed.
Right.
I tried, man. I love Donda. I love the like. I connect with the voices too much to be able to get into it subbed.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, and you know how critical I am of dubbed voices for the most part. I have listened to done it undubbed. I do still prefer the sub, but the dubbed is solid. It really is. It's solid. I particularly like Momo's dubbed
Yeah,
actress and Shiratori. I forget her first name.
Shiratori.
The pink haired girl.
Oh,
'Cause
okay. I know who you're talking about. I'm trying to
Shiratori is
remember.
the last name, but I know it's not her first name, like in
Yeah,
character. But their interactions when they're kind of fighting, that they pop me.
Ira. It's Ira.
Ira, that's it. So yeah, Ira and Momo's dubbed actresses like VAs.
I also really like
Great, yeah.
Okarun's voice actor. He does a great job of, really expressing Okarun's vulnerability
Yes.
while not sounding overly pathetic. I love that.
Yeah, dude, that anime is so fucking good. But yeah, yeah. So no, so yeah, I was handing it over to you, like music, games, like anything you want to talk about there, because yeah, just
Oh right, yeah, music. I've
yeah.
had a weird week on music because I mean, obviously, I don't think it's very rare that a whole week goes by without me listening to at least some XG. So naturally, I've done some of that. Um, I have listened to. Um, oh wow, Silverblue said he does not have Hulu or Apple TV. Do you have Disney Plus? Because you can watch Mike and Nick and Alice on Disney Plus. I don't think Undead Unluck is on Disney Plus, but I
He
will look.
says he has Prime and Netflix is what Superblue
Oh,
has, so he can watch Project Hail Mary. We know
yeah, he can
that,
watch
and he can
Project
watch
Hail
Don
Mary. He can
Don.
watch Don and he did say that he could watch anime stuff on third party, so he can still watch Undead Unluck, just on a third party site.
Yeah, Superblue, I could hook you up with one of the sites I use. I think we're friends on Discord,
Yeah,
so I can do that for you.
but anyway, so
Yeah.
yeah, like XG is like a default thing for me, but I've had a weird, like very rock heavy week. I listened to today specifically. I listened to Queen. I listened to Foreigner. I listened to Styx. I listened to Journey. I listened to fucking Christ, what else? I mean, dude, I gotta be honest with you. Them, watching Mike and Nick and Alice last night got me so into some of the music they were playing. Like, I know the one Oliver and Company song that was playing at the very beginning of the movie. I love that so much. I made it my boop of the day today. The Why Should I Worry? The Billy Joel song. I love that shit.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Um, I also just absolutely. There was another song that played during that movie called Valerie by Steve Winwood. I love that song as well. The soundtrack is an amazing. Like, one of the reasons I love the movie so much is because of how good the soundtrack is. Even just today, I went out of my way to listen to some Alter Bridge for the first time in a while. Love them.
Yes.
I was listening to like In Loving Memory of, and I actually listened to a few songs off of their first album, like Open Their Eyes, and I listened to Metalingus, and In Loving Memory is on there too, and then I listened to When I'm Gone off of the Blackbird album. I love that song too. And Ties That Bind is another good one on there. So I listened to a little bit of Alter Bridge today. Yeah, it's been kind of a rock week. It's also been another one of those like nostalgia things where, like, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, I went on YouTube on my TV and just pulled up like, oh, top 100 hit songs of 1999 and just kind of let it play. That was fun.
Yeah.
And then just let it go to the next video because it was like 99 and then 2000, and I got like all the way up to like 0405 before I finally stopped it from playing. Um Man, that's also why I was like going into like the music channel and talking about like this weird like rock sort of wave, like this weird like, revival, this era of rock groups coming into the mainstream from like 2000 to '02, where we got like Fuel and Nickelback and Linkin Park and Disturbed and Audio Slave and Queens of the Stone Age and Godsmack, and like there was just this like Puddle of Mud, like so many rock bands really kind of got their break in that very early 2000s window, like 2000, The biggest like class, so to speak, was in '01. In 2001 alone, I'm going to list a bunch of groups that all got their first big break, like their first ever like real like charting single song on the charts in 2001. Ready for this? This is a crazy list, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Nickelback, Linkin Park, Puddle of Mud, Sum 41, The Calling, Lifehouse, Saliva, Gorillaz, System of a Down, Stained, Default, POD, Tool, Incubus, Ubastank, and Drowning Pool. All broke out in 2001 alone. That's insane.
Uba Stank. That name pops me.
And the
Yeah.
song was amazing. Actually, that might have been Crawling in the Dark. I think the one that they put out in '01 that got big was Crawling in the Dark. They didn't put out The Reason for another few years after that.
Okay. Okay.
I know you probably
Interesting.
know Hoobastank by The Reason, but I'm pretty sure
Probably.
their first single was Crawling in the Dark. And you've probably heard that song too. You just know it was them.
Yeah.
But then, like, yeah, like in 2000, we got introduced to Three Doors Down and Fuel and Disturbed and Papa Roach, which another song, Papa Roach was another one. There was a song by Papa Roach in the soundtrack to Mike and Nick and Alice, and it was fucking great. It was so fucking funny. And Queens and stuff. And then '02, we got Jimmy Eat World, Newfound Glory, The Used, Audio Slave, and Chevelle, plus Avril Lavigne debuted in 2002 with Complicated. And I think she also put out Skater Boy that year as well. Like, that era was just like, because this is like the '90s didn't have rock music get popular like at all. Like, it was like Nirvana at the beginning, and then after that, it was like any rock music that got popular, it got popular on rock stations. Like, you had your Pearl Jams and your Marilyn Mansons, like, and your Rob Zombies and stuff. Like, there were popular rock acts in the '90s, but they were popular on rock stations. These are all groups that made pop radio music airplay.
Yes.
Like, if you tuned into a station that nowadays is playing like Sabrina Carpenter and Chapel Roan, in 2001 they were playing Linkin Park and Nickelback.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fucking crazy to think about. Yeah, yeah, it's just unbelievable. And like, yeah, I was listening to a lot of that stuff over the last couple days for sure. So musically, that's about it. Games wise, I have been um, thinking a lot about Robopon 2, which is a game that most people in our chat don't even fucking know about. It's an old Game Boy Advance game that I would occasionally hyperfixate on because it's one of my childhood games that I could never quite figure out as a kid. Um, but I think more importantly, I actually beat a game this week, which again, I always celebrate it when I beat a game because it happens so rarely. I think the last time I beat a game was in like February, and that was Fire, or not Fire, it was Golden Sun for the first time since like the late aughts. And that was cool. And now tonight, this week I beat the Plucky Squire, which is a really fun PC game that I quite enjoyed. It was really cute. I can't
Oh
recommend it
yeah,
enough.
you did do that. I remember that because your mom was like so excited watching you play that game, and I came in right at the tail end of you getting that
You
win.
came in right
Yeah,
as I was about to face the final boss. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I will
Good
say the
shit.
final boss was really easy, but I think I was playing on like uneasy mode because I am I have this like if there's a lot of friction in a game, I'll try and get through it and I'll try. But I do have a tendency to just like give up and put a game aside for a while if I feel like it's too much of a struggle or too much of a challenge. Like there's a game that I've been wanting to beat for several years now called The Messenger, and the reason that I desperately want to beat that game is because I mean, A, the game itself is fun, but B, it also is the first in a series of games, or the second game in that series is Sea of Stars, and that's a game that I've been wanting to play since the instant I saw gameplay of it at all. But I refuse to allow myself to play a game if I haven't played every game leading up to that game in the franchise. So I'm not going to play Sea of Stars until I beat The Messenger, and The Messenger is fucking difficult. It is a really fucking hard game, and I'm not good with games who are like designed to be difficult on purpose.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you're never gonna catch
So
me playing a Souls like. Never. You're never gonna catch me
yeah, I
playing.
was gonna say, I was gonna
Yeah,
say, you're never gonna hear about Ashton playing Dark Souls.
yeah, or like
Uh,
Elden Ring, or like no, I will never ever ever play anything like that at all because that's like to me, that's like oh, this is a video game that you will make you miserable on purpose. Like no, I'm not gonna. You're not gonna get me with that shit. No.
hey Ashton, you want to play Elden Ring? Fuck you. Uh,
I'll watch other people play Elden Ring, but I'll be getting angry at them for not playing the game better the whole time.
yeah. I'm not playing it, but you could play it far better. Suck less.
Yeah, yeah. Like I actually did that when Elden Ring first came out. I was watching a bunch of different streamers, and this is like, first of all, this is a big reason why I try not to watch people play games that I'm already extremely intimate with the details and the technical mechanics of because I will just be backseat gaming the whole time. And I try not to actually do the backseat gaming thing where you actually tell them what to do. I don't do that. I avoid doing that. But in my mind, I'm like, oh god, they did this, that's going to cause a lot of problems later on, this is going to suck, oh god, what are they doing, oh my god, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like I'm in my head the whole time just being angry at them for not playing the game the way that I think they should, and that's
Yeah.
why I shouldn't do that. So immediately, like, me watching other people play games has friction to it, so I'll watch people play games that I am completely unfamiliar with, and as long as I am like down with their personality and this game seems fun enough to watch. So when Elden Ring first came out, I did watch some streamers play it, and like this was when I was still like really enjoying watching like the OTV and Friends folks watch shit or play shit, like the Sykunos and the Valkyries of the world. And like I think Sykuno took like 10 hours to beat that initial like not even actually a boss like guardian horse thing in the starting area of Elden Ring. And then I flip over to Valkyrie and I think she did it in like an hour and a half. Like she did it so much faster than him. And like that was so satisfying to me to watch someone actually conquer this thing in like a relatively normal amount of time because of how
Yes.
built up it was as like this unstoppable, unbeatable thing. And I maybe watched two or three other people attempt it and got annoyed that they weren't doing it as well as Valkyrie was, and I just flipped off of it. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. And I never
Yeah.
ended up watching anyone else play other than her. Like I kept up with her kind of like tangentially, like vaguely, and that was about it. So like yeah, that's like I genuinely enjoy watching people whose personalities I mesh with play games that I'm not familiar with that I do enjoy the gameplay of. But if it's a game that I'm familiar with and they don't play it in a way that I like, I get too mad, so I can't do that.
I think I can still enjoy watching my family play games, but I can't watch streamers unless, you know what, that's not true. I like people that do silent playthroughs of games because there was a brief period,
That's
like I
so
want to say
funny.
last year, that I like would work out to intermittently, which I need to get back on that because I need the mental stimulation when I work out. I watched somebody do like a 10-hour playthrough of Donkey Kong 64, and
Nice.
like get through a little bit each time. Like if it
Yeah.
was a 30-minute workout, I'd get through 30 minutes. If it was like an hour workout, it'd be an hour, and like little by little until I watched the whole thing. And
And
yeah, it was
see,
just a silent playthrough.
I can't do silent playthroughs because when I'm watching someone play a video game, I need to be inside their head the whole time. I need them to justify every decision to me.
The way you said that, I love that.
Like,
Justify
I,
yourself to me right fucking now. Have you
yeah,
played this
like
game? No, and I don't want to, but you need to answer to me now.
yes, exactly. Like I can't watch a video game muted because if someone does something and I don't understand why they did it, I just get angry.
Ashton, you better go through door number one. Player goes through door number two. Son of a bitch.
But like if it's like if there's commentary, they can be like I can hear them working out their logic for why they went down door number 2 out loud, and that makes me feel better than if I just watch them do the thing I don't want them to do without explanation. That pisses me off.
I'm sorry I'm having too much fun with this, but it's like, hey, show your fucking work.
Exactly, exactly. That's how my brain works, man. I like even going back to when I was like 6, 7 years old, and I know I did the thing, but still, like around that age, my mom's wife or my mom's husband at the time would get mad at me because he came from a southern household where they are all about like respecting your elders and authority and shit and like just do
Ew.
what you're told. And so he would like tell me to do something and I would always want to know why. I was always asking why this, why that. And he would get so fucking annoyed with it and it would I would always get the answer of like because I told you so. And it's like that's never been enough for me. And they even got to the point, like, even like when I was a fucking adult working in the grocery store at like 20, 21, 22 years old, working at the front end, I had a manager who got annoyed with me for wanting explanations on why things are done the way that they're done. That's just always been how I've been.
God, I realize that like I need to be better for you than what I've been because sometimes it'll be like, John, why'd you do this thing in Brawlhalla? Oh my God, eat my ass! Like, it's like no, like just show the work. Don't create the loop. Oh man, you know what though? In a way, I get that because I won't say that I'm as adamant as you are about answers, but there are times and situations where you're like, no, I need to understand this. Like, I don't want to fight you on this. This isn't me trying to fight you on this. I just don't understand why. Like perfect example for me that's more domestic. Like Christy and I have very different philosophies about the dishwasher. Because like I'll always hand wash plastic stuff because like microplastics and everything else, and I'm like we don't know what's happening with microplastics when you put it through the dishwasher. But she'll just like put it in there and like not care. But there are other times she tells me like, oh, you can hand wash them, but I'm like, what do you want to do? Because you say one thing and then you go and you put it in, and I'm like, just tell me what it is. But yeah, like I get it. It's just yeah, I guess for you it's like it's just a more adamant thing. It's just the way your brain is structured. So yeah, we could all be better about showing our work. Also, just to circle back to Mike and Nick and Alice, like that soundtrack is the complete antithesis to the Twisters soundtrack, and and
Yes.
and Tw- and Twisters was the first movie that I can honestly say where like I understood how important a soundtrack was to a movie, probably because others have been either passable or just really good that they kind of like meld in the background and you take it for granted essentially. But that soundtrack was so bad, I actively took note of the soundtrack, and it was nice to just blend into a soundtrack again for that movie. So big ups to that movie for that. But so that was gaming stuff. Any other gaming stuff to report on? Because yeah, I know you beat the
Um,
Plucky Squadron on stuff.
I did. I don't. Oh, yeah, actually, I did. I started playing. I think I mentioned the game last week, Starless Umbra, that I'm in on the playtest of, and that I'm able, if anyone's interested in getting in on that playtest, I'm able to send out one invite. I did start playing that game, and it is pretty fun, but my mom was really fucking bored with it, so I couldn't play it for very long on the TV without, her falling asleep. So I only got maybe like a half hour, 45 minutes of gameplay on that. I think I'm gonna try and play it a little bit more on my AYN Thor if it's compatible. I hope it is.
Oh, to take the ball back very quickly, for something just personally that I've been doing. Weird thing. I've been on like a Master Chef kick and just watching
Nice.
like cooking videos and stuff.
Yep. You know what
Because and
inspired
I've
that, right?
what inspired that?
The bear.
Well, the bear, yeah. Well, and also just, and I've told Ashton this, but I haven't told you guys this. I have had just the strongest craving for fucking Italian food lately because I am Italian, and I think I also have to credit that one.
He's a
I wish I could.
Jersey Italian of all things.
Yeah, I'm looking at. Well, that's more Brooklyn, but you get the idea.
He's related to the Jersey Shore people, I bet.
Ew, don't put that on me. But yeah, I don't know. I can't think of the name of the user off the top of my head.
Smush, smush.
Oh, God. Don't self-pop. You suck that back in right now. And he self-pops even louder. God damn it.
No, the most recent one
I,
wasn't a self-pop. It was a you popping me pop.
well, God, I can't ask you to suck that back in. I'm amazing. Fuck.
Yeah, you are.
But no, I can't think of the Instagram user, but there was this woman that made this really amazing reel about the fucking fascist dorks that had like a parade, protest, whatever at the Capitol. I had to like the 250 celebration.
Oh, yeah.
And she was fucking spitting and like, pure fucking flames on this thing. And she said like whiteness doesn't even really exist. Like you're not white, like you're Italian or you're German or you're whatever. Like, don't you hate that like all of your distinctive cultures got homogenized under this one thing that isn't even real? And it really got me to think like I love being Italian. Like my grandmother, may she rest in peace, she's been dead a few years. She introduced me to like Italian cooking. She used to make like the ziti and the ravioli, stuff like that. Like
boy.
What's up?
No, you mentioned ziti, and my mom fucking loves ziti to like an unhealthy degree.
Fucking besties, man. I don't know what to tell you. But that's the thing with me is like, and to make more of a serious note, because I want to make sure that I stay focused. I appreciate cultures, but my biggest means of cultural appreciation is through food. Like 100%. Like it's either food or behind that would be literature. Like I love, like I grew, just to give an example, I grew a deeper appreciation for Iranian culture reading Arabic poetry, because Arabic poetry is fucking gorgeous. So if you're a literature person like me, read Arabic poetry. Like Nizar Kabani is one of the best romantic poets I've ever fucking read. And there's a collection of poems from like Arabic women that is just amazing. Because what's so funny about I say Arabic. I'm even saying it wrong. Persian poetry, because when Iran used to be Persia, it's incredible like how many of the poems are about love and wine and sex. Like you wouldn't associate that with the Iran of today, which is a theocracy, thanks to the U.S. So once again, just holding that L.
Gotta keep things stabilizing.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you democratically elected a leader that wants to nationalize something that we wanted? Oh, man, that's quite a pickle. CIA, how quickly can we get a supplanted leader here?
But yeah. You democratically elected a leader that wants to nationalize something we want? No, you didn't.
Joke's on you. I hate it here just so fucking much. But yeah, cultural appreciation for me, I'd be curious, because I know Ashton is multicultural like myself. Like, I know, like, we both appreciate Japanese culture and stuff. And I know you've taken the big step of actually trying to learn the language, which I just need to stress again is king shit. Because I flirted for like 2 seconds of like, do I want to try and learn Italian? And then my brain immediately was like, nah.
Like, I mean, you're not going to take the Peter Griffin route of beepity boppity boopity.
Nope. It's so fucking funny you say that though, because I rewatched the first 10 minutes of that episode today because I love the mustache side plot. I don't really care for like the cow and everything. The mustache.
Wait, is that the same episode that he has a stroke in?
Yes, it's literally called McStroke. Yeah, it's literally called McStroke, season 6, episode 8.
Oh my god.
And
the most iconic scene in that episode is when he is trying to drive and he ends up crashing, and then as he's like laying near a river, an actual like a boat racing team goes by him and they're just doing stroke, and he goes, stop backing me.
See, dude, and my favorite joke in that episode is when he's like the firefighter because he has a mustache, so they're like, oh, grab him, and he grabs the McBurger town guy, and the only thing that catches on fire is his mustache, and he loses it, and he's like, no, and the guy's like, oh, God bless you, sir, you saved my life, and Peter grabs it, and he's like, but at what cost? At what cost? Like I just early Family Guy up to that point actually used to like fucking pop me a lot. But yeah,
I would be
I was
willing
even
to rewatch early Family Guy with you up till like the point that they tried to kill off Ryan.
oh dude, one of my favorite episodes from early Family Guy. I forget what season. I think it was either season 2 or 3. Was To Live and Die in Dixie. That's another
Yeah.
great episode. Yeah, because even just the raccoon. Lois, I'm in this outhouse, but I can't see the hole. Oh wait, I found it. Doesn't go anywhere. No, it definitely doesn't go anywhere. And then the bird knocks the outhouse over. Oh God, it's everywhere. It's in my raccoon woods. God. Yeah, early Peter was fucking great until they shitified him and just made him like just a dumb, bumbling dad. But yeah, going back to the culture thing, I even told my sister recently, like, I've never had a tiramisu, and I would like to try a tiramisu. So like,
I
I'm
can't believe you've never had tiramisu. That's crazy to me.
no, never, never. But like, I was torn between that and wanting to do cannolis because they're both like premier Italian desserts. And I think I'm leaning tiramisu though. Like, I think I'd like that more than a cannoli. So I'm gonna hopefully be trying that soon. And yeah, I'm gonna be getting back on my pasta shit real soon. You trust and believe, everybody. Like, in fact, I'm going to be making a family visit next month to PA. I've got some personal family stuff to tend to, and apparently my mom lives near an Italian restaurant. Maybe we'll eat there, and I want to say maybe because nothing's guaranteed. But yeah, I'll be getting my grub on soon enough. But yeah. Yeah, just thinking about cultures because she's right. Like whiteness, like is stupid, and people that buy into it are dorks, quite honestly. And like we should just reconnect with our actual cultural roots, whether they're Germanic, Italian, Polish. Like don't let it all be fucking homogenized. So I'm looking to reconnect with my Italian roots. We'll see how that goes for me. Maybe it'll be nothing. Maybe it'll be something. But
There's
yeah,
a
Master Chef stuff.
there's a deep irony to a bunch of pasty white dweebs trying to bond over their unwillingness to touch grass.
Yes, yes, yes.
Hey, is your skin pasty white? Yes. Is your skin pasty white? Yes. We have something in common. Clearly, we're superior to those who can go outside and not get burned.
Dude, thank you. Because like I was even like the audacity to call yourself the master race, which first of all, again, dweeb fucking shit. Jesus Christ. But
It's kind
like
of like the
the sun.
KKK leader being called the Grand Wizard.
Yeah, dude, what in the fuck? But
From
like
what
the
I understand,
sun.
they actually did that on purpose to try and make them sound more harmless.
Wow, of course. Of course. But like the sun literally hates you, dude. Like what the fuck? That's why too. Like I know it's kind of well, I'd say tenuous connection, but I mean not really. But this is why they say too, like fucking Israelis that live on the land, like geographically you're not suited for the fucking land because you're gonna get fucking burned because like the sun and everything. Like you're not built for this shit but you stole it and like you're just not fit for it. It's crazy, dude. It's fucking crazy. Um yeah.
It's
Yeah, I don't know.
amazing
I
what centuries of our ancestors refusing to go out and touch grass and be in the sun has done to us.
You can't do this. The sun hates you. Fuck you. I'm tougher than the sun. Yeah, tell that to the melanoma, motherfucker.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
yeah,
I would far prefer the melanin to the melanoma.
yes, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, because you and I, who are pro science people, along with our audience, I'm like, yeah, I'm looking forward to our species evolving if we even get that far, given climate acceleration, where we're more acclimated to the sun and we're more of like a naturally like bronzed people or whatever on that side, along with our dark
That's
skinned
exactly
comrades.
what the white supremacists are terrified of because they have this whole like white great replacement theory and they're scared that white people are going to go extinct because there's going to be so many mixed race people that their pure white race is going to be gone. But like we should be thriving for that shit.
Yeah, evolution's replacing you, jackass. Whiteness fucking
Have
sucks.
you seen mixed race people? They're so fucking hot.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, what are you even clinging to? Because again, like, when you homogenize whiteness, they're like, oh, but what about Irish roots and that? Like, well, then just be Irish or be
Yeah,
Italian and, like, appreciate, like, what the fuck are you
celebrate
doing?
if you're mixed race. Celebrate both cultures, both like everything. Like you're not neither of those things. You're both of those things. Celebrate
Yeah,
both.
Yeah, don't be fucking dumb to me. In the words of Donkey, like you're pissing me off.
Yeah, but again though, like if you're mixed race black and white, celebrate your blackness, but it's not a matter of celebrating whiteness. It's a matter of learning what kind of white you are. Are you Italian like John? Are you Irish? Are you like learn your actual culture on that side and celebrate that. You're not celebrating whiteness because the thing is, like with black people in America, the vast majority of black people in America are black Americans. They are here because their ancestors were forced to be here against their will and they forged a culture of their fucking own. Like the only two cultures that are actually unique to America are black American culture and fucking redneck culture. And please miss me with that last thing.
Yes, I just want to shout her out because I actually took the time to pull her up because the Instagram user that I referenced is the only reason we had such an extensive discourse, which I very much enjoyed. Her username is Wander, so WANDER slut, so Wander slut on Instagram. I don't even know if I'm following her. I'm gonna follow her now just
I
because again,
followed
if
her
that
as
one
soon as I
real,
saw that fucking video that you posted because
yeah.
she's got a great mind and great other things too.
Yeah, so really appreciate the conversation that she generated because this is all thanks to her. And so yeah, this is actually still I turned the ball over to you, and then I don't know. Oh yeah, I took it back to talk about MasterChef, and then it just became this whole thing. So I apologize
Oh
for that.
no,
But
you don't have to.
anything else?
The only other
Yeah,
thing worth talking about for me is that I've spent the week watching Full House and I'm loving it.
dude, full five. R.I.P. Bob Saget, man. Honestly,
I
God,
know,
what a
yeah,
show.
it's sad.
Yeah,
It is so
yeah,
funny to me though that, and this is something that I just actually like observed, like realized this week. It is so funny to me that Uncle Jesse, the character, early on is very like John Stamos being a bad boy, and then in the later seasons you can very easily see that he's basically being domesticated, and he goes from like cool, badass, kind of careless, sort of jackass in a way, but also like you can tell he cares about the kids character. And then like by the later seasons, he is just fully domesticated, fully like dweeby dad. Like you compare like season 5 Uncle Jesse to season 1 dad, like Danny Tanner, and it is like
yeah,
that fucking office meme. We're like, these are the same picture. He gets complete like, and it's the funniest thing to me though is that you can tell that it is just John Stamos acting his ass off because in more recent roles, even as recently as Dr. Nicky in You, he's still like the fucking badass love, like like heartthrob type. He he
yeah.
he had to put effort into being a dweeb. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, John Stamos on that show, it's so fascinating to me because he's even given interviews where I think he genuinely caught feelings for Lori Loughlin, who played Becky
Oh
on the show.
God.
And
I
like
mean,
he
she
even
is a
said like
very attractive woman. I had a crush on her at a very young age.
oh dude, samesies. Her and DJ and really I struck out on both
Damn.
because
Yeah,
DJ
I
turned out
was
to be
gonna
like
say
very
that's a real
conservative.
rough one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, story of my life. But he even said like Lori Loughlin was like the one that got away, and I'm like, damn, Stamos, like have mercy,
I
huh?
really want to believe that that's just him trying to maintain a facade of kayfabe.
Maybe, but dude, Hollywood's so fucking weird. Who even knows?
Exactly.
But yeah, if that was it, we can transition because we've been going over 2 hours already. I think we should get into Q&A if you're cool with
Yeah,
that.
we're done with our main three
Um,
segments. We can move on to Q&A. I already have Super Blue's questions pulled up, and he's the only person that asked any. So
it's the Super Blue Hour. Okay. Question one. How do you both feel about Corbin? Well, we already kind of answered this, really.
yeah, but
So I
I
feel
like
like
that he twisted it a little bit to make it not just about how do you feel about Corbin. It's how do you feel about Corbin returning to chase for the fur coat title, Trick's custom US title, and also not being used for Danhausen's Frankenstein.
I mean, again, I don't know if he'll be successful in that bid because Trick is so hot right now, unless they wanted to get the title off Trick and
For
maybe
the
start
Money in the
building him up
Bank
for
in
Money in the
October.
Bank.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Which thank you for reminding me that it got pushed to October because
Yeah.
I've still been thinking about September.
I did post
Um,
a question in the main wrestling discussion Discord channel, just asking people who they thought should win Money in the Bank, and literally, like I think one or two people answered, and that's it.
oh, well. I'm cool with Trick. I think him with that briefcase, especially if Lil Yachty wants to give him a custom briefcase, I'm cool with it.
That
Imagine
would
him
be
with like a
fun.
third.
I mean, he already
Yeah,
has a custom title. Why not take it to the next level with a custom briefcase too? That'd be really cool.
yeah. Imagine like a furry fucking briefcase. Right? Yeah, I can see it. But yeah, I mean Corbin's a solid hand. I'm not gonna hate too much, but it's just kind of there. It's just kind of there. Like I'm not getting out of bed for it, but I'm not gonna hate on it either. It really is just what it is, I guess at this point.
Yeah.
Um,
But as far as Danhausen's Frankenstein goes, I think this is going to be the angle that they use to bring back Enzo and Cass. I think that the Frankenstein quote unquote is going to end up being Big Cass.
That dude, that's such a great shout. No, I think you nailed that. I think you absolutely nailed that. Um, kind of like I nailed how B Priestley's just a fucking heel. But yeah, fucking stardom. Question two. And he posted something from Raw Cognizance and talked about Trump. When will Trump just give up? And will there be another January 6th when it's time for him to leave? Super Blue, and this is the report about firing members of the Election Assistance Commission. And we already kind of touched on this too, because I already said, like, I think it's going to be too big to rig. And even if they succeed in rigging, like, I just think that's going to promote greater civil unrest. I don't think you really got to answer too much on your side, Bud, when that news kind of broached. So this will be a chance for you, I guess, to give more of your thoughts. But as far as will there be another January 6th? I mean, maybe, because I mean,
If
this is
Trump
all
is
fascists
still
know how
in
to do.
office in 2028, when the
Yeah.
2028 election happens, I'm worried that he's going to try and run for a third term. Like, I'm worried about that before I'm worried about another January 6th happening.
First of all, your concerns are definitely valid, but to actually answer the substance of Super Blue's question, I mean, yeah, it's possible because I mean it's the fascist playbook and it's all they know how to do. But like at the same time, I don't know. I feel like it would be a bigger January 6th in the sense that it wouldn't just be far right people taking part in unrest. Like it would just be people fed up with this fucking regime. Like I don't want to use the term civil war because I never want to be hyperbolic or doomer. Like I never want to promote that kind of shit on the channel. But like it would have the feeling of just further social erosion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like more would come to a head, and I think that's fair for me to say. So I'm just
Mm-hmm.
gonna leave it at that. Do you have any other thoughts you would like to give as it relates to this question?
From what I understand, the election assistance commission is basically just like, hey, states running your own elections, if you need any help doing that, we're here to help you. So, because the states that are most likely to not have their shit together already are already the red states, I feel like this might even hurt Trump more than it helps him.
Yeah. I mean, dude, he's so like I don't want to. This is not me saying it to be cocky. I mean, you guys already know I'm not a fucking liberal as is, so it's not like cockiness or anything like that. But this dude's so incompetent. Like, I wouldn't even be surprised if he couldn't like steal an election correctly without like billionaire help. Because really, I even credit 2024 more Elon than anything in like Trump's immediate circle.
Right.
So we'll see how it goes. All right. Question three. Oh my God, here we go with these questions. I knew this was coming. Do you regret that Sammy won the world title before LA Knight now, knowing that if LA Knight wins the title, his reign will be longer than Sammy's? First of all, you don't know that. Second of all, no, I don't, because the whole thing was, oh, LA Knight's going to win a world title before Sammy. That's what you said, and you were wrong. I pinned it. We all saw it. So no, I don't regret it because the laughs that we all got that day were pretty amazing. I felt great. And we all knew that Sammy was going to lose anyway the moment we knew that he was going to defend the title on Raw before SummerSlam because they just didn't see Sammy as being, I guess, big enough name for SummerSlam. So, yeah, and honestly, Super Lou, LA Knight probably will win a world title. Like, I'm not going to cab about all that. But I say that, but it's also different from saying, like, that it's guaranteed he's going to win a world title, which it's not. So, just be careful with the energy you're putting out there because LA Knight still has to win a world title before we can even talk about range. You got to actually win a championship first. So I feel like I answered that adequately enough. Do you even want to add anything?
Super Blue, you have such a strange way of phrasing questions because you're asking us, people who are simply observers of the product, if we have regrets about a decision that we had nothing to do with.
Yeah.
How can we regret something that we didn't even do?
I wish everybody believed that we have the kind of power that Super Blue believes that we have, because we'd get so
Like,
much shit done.
he has like, we
Like,
regret that Sammy won the world title before LA Knight, as if we had the power to make the decision to not let that happen.
yeah, and I took it more as, oh well, you guys were like so confident and you made this whole thing, and now you see how it turned out. Like, do you?
So confident.
I would
I
almost phrase it
wasn't
as, do we have?
confident at all that Sammy was going to win the title at that match, especially.
Yeah, I don't even think I predicted. I think I predicted a Cody retention
We
actually, so
both
I wasn't even
predicted
confident
Cody
it
to
was gonna.
retain. So, like,
Yeah,
even if you want to play this goofy ass little game where you say that us making a prediction is the same as us making something happen, which is I've always found ridiculous, we both predicted Cody to retain the title in that match. So, like,
yeah.
where is this regret thing coming from? I don't understand how we can regret something that we had nothing to do with at all.
That's why I'm really taking on the chin, because I know he's really like, I think isolating me more because I did pin the comment that like, oh, LA Knight's gonna beat Sammy to like the first world title and
Yeah,
whatever,
and that
yeah,
was hilarious, and you were amazing for doing that, and even for remembering that you did that when it happened, to be able to all laugh about it. That was wonderful.
yeah.
Great job.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I regret nothing personally, because like Sammy did win a world title before LA Knight did. Like, that's what it was
Yeah,
about. That's what
Sammy
it was
could have
about.
gotten cashed in on by a non-existent Money in the Bank holder night of, the way that Batista didn't have Money in the Bank but still managed to cash in at Elimination Chamber 2010 or 2011, whatever year it was, and it was still worth it because Sami Zayn simply winning the title before LA Knight was the whole point of why John pinned that, you saying that LA Knight was going to win before him, because it was like, no, he didn't.
Super Blue, it could have even been LA Knight himself to have that kind of title opportunity that Ashton alludes to, and it still sequentially would have been Sammy came first because LA Knight took it off of Sammy. It
Yeah.
wouldn't have mattered even if it was LA Knight himself.
Yeah.
Sammy still did it before LA Knight did.
That wouldn't
Like,
have been as enjoyable to laugh about, because then Super Blue
no,
would have still been able to enjoy the LA Knight being world champion at all, and he wouldn't have
yeah,
cared that Sammy won it first, because it would have been the current champ was that would be LA Knight. But as it stands, still he would have been wrong.
exactly. So, question four for both of us. Um, don't you talk about Stardom and Marigold in your wrestling segment? Only when it's pertinent. Only when
The
it's
thing
like
is,
really big news
the
coming
main
out of
reason we
those.
don't talk about Stardom in our wrestling segment is because the shit that we watch in any given week of Stardom is typically like 3 weeks old.
Yeah.
Like, the same way that, like, if you were to make a request for us to react to a pay-per-view from like 2005, we wouldn't talk about that in our wrestling segment. We don't like talking about stuff that isn't contemporary and isn't current and isn't actually from the week of our weekly recap on our wrestling segment of our weekly recap. So if we, like, this week we watched Stardom shows from like the middle of June, and it's the
Yeah.
middle of July. Like, it's the way that Stardom works right now is basically they have one pay-per-view every month or so, every 3 to 4 weeks, and those pay-per-views don't get uploaded for 3 weeks after they actually happen. So in order for us to actually watch those, we have to wait those 3 weeks. And in that meantime, while we're waiting for the pay-per-views to go up, we just kind of space out the content in between them to be able to, fill out those weeks. So, like, for example, the June 20th pay per view, which, again, I have to emphasize, this happened on June 20th, only just got uploaded to Stardom World yesterday,
Yes.
which is why we've been covering everything that happened up to that point, and now we can finally actually react to the June 20th pay per view next Thursday. But if we really wanted to, we could react to and catch up on everything at that point. We could be like, hey, finally the June 20th show is up. Let's open Pandora's box and react to every single match that we want to react to that is up on Stardom Worlds that's happened since that June 20th show. But then we wouldn't have anything to react to the following week or the following week or the following week, because then we have to wait for their July 20th pay-per-view to go, or whatever whatever the next pay-per-view is in line. Then we have to wait 3 weeks for that to get put up. So we have learned over our years covering this product that it is best to just take our time, space things out, figure out what their pay-per-view schedule is, and make sure that we have an empty slate for whatever the first Thursday is after each pay-per-view gets uploaded, so we can cover that. And that's kind of been our schedule
Yes.
for that. And for Marigold, the shows just haven't been really hitting that much recently. Like our most recent Mortar Gold reaction, I think covered up to like July 14th. No, that's not even happened yet. What what was our most recent Mortar Gold reaction to? Even I forget already.
It was like a late June show and like early July
Yeah, it
shows,
was
but
so it
it
was
was
June
yeah
20th, 27th, July 4th, and July 4th was like last Saturday, so it's still before this week in wrestling.
yeah.
So like yeah, like that's why we don't talk about them though, is because it's stuff that hasn't happened during the week that we're doing a recap for. So like if you want to kind of keep up with our thoughts on Stardom and Martyr Gold, watch our reactions to Stardom and Martyr Gold.
Absolutely.
They're not very long anymore. They're usually around an hour nowadays, maybe an hour and a half for longer ones because we don't react to that many matches there anymore.
Exactly. Question 5 for both. How many flock cameras have you seen in your area? They are the black poles with solar panels and cameras underneath. So, Ashton, I took the liberty of going on dflock.org and putting in both of our zip codes. I'm not going to dox you or myself. And they said 0 cameras in view, and I've seen 0 flock cameras, thankfully. Have you seen any flock cameras? Just
I
flip
have
the
not
question to
seen
you
a
formally.
single one. No, the closest thing to a flock camera that I see around me is these little like digital signs that they'll put under a speed limit sign that tell you how fast you're going. And if you're going higher than the speed limit, they'll blink at you. And if you're going more than like 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, they'll blink red and blue lights at you like a police person is around.
Yeah. So, thankfully, we haven't seen it. And then the final question from Super Blue was for me: will you watch this promo to get up to speed on what LA Knight said on Raw? You know what, Sir Blue? If we hadn't already been going for such a long time, I honestly would have told you yes. But it's like almost 1:15, and I want to get the hell out of here. So no, I'm not doing that. But yeah, I've been hearing that LA Knight's been better on the stick. I would fucking hope so because that's what he's been selling himself on his entire career. He still sucks though, and even in this thumbnail, it looks like Jimmy Uso super kicking him. You have to be utter shit for me to root for Jimmy Uso in any situation. Shame on you, LA Knight. I'm owed a fucking apology. Well, will I get it? Of course not. But am I owed one? Yes. So yeah, that's Q&A. So now we can get on to high spots and low shots. My low shot. God, this is such a dick move by me, but honestly, I'm feeling it. My low shot's gonna be Trump's brain because Jesus fucking Christ, it has been a rough week for him. Islamic Republic of Japan calling Zelensky Putin, having to be led by the hand by the Turkish President Erdogan when he tried to wander off to an area rather than like following Erdogan, I guess to like wherever the cameras were or whatever, napping during a speech in Turkey because again his circadian rhythm is fucked because of the dementia. His brain is pudding. So like yeah, Trump and just more specifically his brain is my low shot because Jesus fucking Christ. Who is your low shot?
I'll take the low hanging fruit wrestling low shot. Sami Zayn is my low shot. That's a pretty easy one.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, it hurts, but I don't blame you. I really don't blame you at all. Um, you know what? I feel kind of weird with this as a high spot, but I mean, you broke down the data, and one person's misfortune is another person's history. I'm gonna say high spot. Troy Jackson, Graham Plattner, fucking
Well,
imploding the way that he did, like, and the data looking good for Jackson to actually beat Collins. It's a
I
good
just
time for him.
really hope that the main Democrat Party actually nominates him and they don't fuck this one up.
And I'm very sus on that happening, which I'm sure you can understand why.
Yeah.
But just looking at it prospectively, again, horrible circumstances, and I want to center the woman. May she get the restitution she fucking deserves to just say that again and be emphatic on that point. But looking at the broader political landscape, what an opportunity for Jackson if the Democratic Party just gets out of its own way and allows it to happen. So I'm gonna give him high spot. I mean, what a set of circumstances. Who's your high spot?
Mm, hmm. I high spot's tough for me.
Make it me. Shock everyone.
Well, now that wouldn't shock anyone because you gave it away, bud.
Well, I mean, I didn't think you were going to go for it regardless. I mean, look, be honest. If I had messaged you privately on Discord, like, psst, make it me, do you think you would have gone for it?
That would have been great, actually. Yeah.
Damn it.
I'm joking. I wouldn't have. High spot Kenny Omega.
Love that. Great choice. Great choice.
Yeah, he's the new AEW champion, and because of that, he's going to be main eventing Wembley, probably retaining. Well, actually, I can't say that because it's fucking Ospreay, and he's probably going to win the damn thing.
I feel like Ospreay's due, bro, if I'm being honest. Yeah.
It's surprising that they've managed to restrain themselves this long from putting the title on him.
I mean, how could they resist when he has such searing promo moments like grinding on the boss's daughter? Oh, God, I hate him so much. Yeah, but good for Kenny. Good for Kenny. I actually re-listened to his New Japan theme recently, and God, Devil's Sky is such an underrated theme, honestly. I listened to that again after like so many years, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? This shit fucking slaps. What the fuck? Man, Golden New Japan, drop that shit in a bottle, man. God damn.
When you say golden New Japan, are you like just referring to like when New Japan's really good, it's like on another level, or is there like an era you're referring to?
Well, just that era where you and I were like actively, almost obsessively covering it.
So like,
okay,
so like
good.
2015 to like pre-pandemic 2020.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What a run, man.
Yeah.
What a fucking run.
That's also, by the way, a hard overlap of that era with the best of NXT and almost the entire existence of Lucha Underground. Like, what an era for pro wrestling in general.
Oh, something's definitely getting hard, all right. But yeah, great high spot there. And that's weekly recap. So let's get the fuck out of here. And so yeah, leave a like, guys, as you file out, subscribe with the bell icon notifications so you miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Blue Sky and Twitch because we are the best podcast on the internet today. We'll see you guys again. I mean, we'll definitely see you guys again for Stardom Thursday because now that the June 20th show is up, we can do that. So I'm just going to assume that
should be our only recording this week, other than this next Saturday.
Yeah, because I mean, Monty Gold. I mean, what are you even doing, you know? But yeah, so Stardom at 7 next Thursday, and then yeah, weekly recap if you're just here for that. Saturday 10:30 as we're on the road to SummerSlam, everybody. Yeah, which thankfully,
Is there not a Saturday night's main event in between now and SummerSlam?
There is a Saturday night's main event. Yeah, so honestly, road to Saturday night's main event, but really road to SummerSlam. Let's be real. So,
I have to wonder if the Gunther Aldis match will take place on SNME instead of SummerSlam, but I don't know.
Well, I don't know because he already booked. Remember, I said this earlier in the show. I don't know if Aldis is going to change his mind, but before he got attacked, he said that it was going to be Gunther and Sami Zayn against Cody and CM Punk in a tag match. That was
that's Saturday night's main event.
Yes,
Damn,
correct.
That's a fucking nothing main event. Jesus Christ.
So it looks like Aldis is all in. Sorry, wrong company. It's going to be SummerSlam, probably, Aldis and Gunther. Get Mickey James involved in the storyline. I'm sure she would take a sleeper spot from Gunther, and then Aldis can get all like big mad. Like,
you know what? I am okay with them getting Mickey James involved as long as they also get Ginny involved. That's the only acceptable way to do this.
Yes, do it. They won't though.
No, of course not.
Yeah, guys, have a great fucking weekend. As always, especially in these times, be good to yourselves and be good to each other, especially to each other, please, for the love of God. And
hey, I want to add something to this. Be good to yourself. Wait, you already said that. Never mind.
I did, but you know what? You should be good to yourself, bud, because you're fucking beautiful.
I just have to really emphasize that because there's too much self-loathing in the world today, man. People need to learn to love themselves.
You know what? Don't tell me what to do, but also I'll think about it. Yeah. So have a great weekend, guys. Love you, big hugs, and we'll see you again soon. Peace out.